Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours and a lot to get into this afternoon. Plenty of football to talk about, both college and the NFL. We'll have NFL back on our televisions tonight with Thursday Night Football. Cowboys on the road at the Lions later tonight. We'll have coverage of that game right here on Sports 56. We got to talk college football. We'll talk more about the Tigers head coach opening. We'll certainly talk a lot about that with Greg Gaston a little bit later in the show. We also got to talk Tiger basketball as they were winners last night over New Orleans. Made it look easy pretty much all night last night, but injuries starting to stack up a little bit for Penny Hardaway's team. So plenty to get into over these next 3 hours. We'll also talk some NBA as well. So a lot to get into. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well, and we're not just carrying a game tonight. We are carrying our Cowboys.
I mean, it's really our game, Brett.
Right.
That is the Sports Time game tonight. Is really what I mean. We're getting bowl games announced left and right.
Firmly in playoff contention tonight.
Oh man, this is a big one for playoffs. So, I mean,
over the top rope for the defeated team.
Oh no, it really is. I think they named they kind of created a bowl game out of thin air earlier today. So I think tonight's the Sports Time Bowl. I mean, I don't know about you, but that is.
What was the bowl game out of thin air today?
The Bahamas Bowl is no longer a thing, or it's not a thing this year. They're not playing the Bahamas Bowl, but they are playing the Xbox Bowl in Frisco this year. Missouri State and Arkansas State going to be playing in the Xbox Bowl. Yeah, no, it is. It is.
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, well, because a lot of people, because the Bahamas Bowl announced, I guess before the season started, that they were not going to be doing a bowl game this year, and so for the last, really over the weekend, Brett McMurphy would tweet out and be like, we've got X amount of teams, there are this many spots for a bowl game, and everybody was in the comments going, there is no Bahamas Bowl this year. Subtract 2 from your list. We don't need that many teams. There are only this many spots. And then Monday, I think, somebody saw that there was a bowl game on ESPN that was listed as TBD Bowl, TBD time, TBD date, TBD location. Everyone was like, is this a replacement for the Bahamas Bowl?
Just programming, isn't it?
That's exactly right. Today we find out that they're going to play it down in Frisco at the Star, and it's going to be Missouri State and Arkansas State playing in it.
Okay.
How about that?
So Arkansas and Mizzou play the borderline rivalry. Why can't we just call this one that?
Right, I mean,
same border, isn't it?
It's true. That's exactly right. So I guess it is, Border War Part 2. How about that?
Yeah.
Something.
Other bowl news, Kansas State has announced that they will not accept a bowl.
Wow.
I didn't know you could turn one down anymore.
I knew they were talking about it. I did not know that they had officially said they weren't going to play in one. Wow, okay. So that's interesting. Obviously, they have a coaching change happening, and I guess saying we're not going to play in a bowl game. That's interesting.
And I just wonder if that at all would affect the Liberty Bowl, since there's limit. I don't think the Liberty Bowl will get an SEC team, and it's very limited in the Big 12.
Yeah.
We know Baylor has a losing record, Kansas, Central Florida, West Virginia, Colorado, Oklahoma State. So that's 6 that can't.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
And now Kansas State, that's 7. Well, Texas Tech and BYU both could be in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Utah will go to a bowl more in line with a 10-2 record. Houston the same at 9-3. Arizona 9-3. Arizona State and Iowa State 8-4. TCU at 8-4.
Yeah.
Cincinnati 7-5.
Yeah,
that looks like prime Liberty Bowl.
Yeah,
and been here before.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, that would be a good fit for the Liberty Bowl for sure. So yeah, that's really interesting news, and I guess that means you'll have a team that did not win 6 games get a call saying, hey, you can go to a bowl game now.
I get a text from a friend that Marshall turned one down last year.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'm just confusing. I'm almost certain in the SEC you cannot turn one down.
Yeah.
You go. Now, one year when Lou Holtz was still coach at South Carolina, they had a Donnybrook brawl with Clemson, and self-imposed out of that to not accept a bowl. But since then, I think it's mandated you go for the TV partners.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably
or
kind of
the TV partner.
Sure. Well, yeah. I'm sure it's probably a conference by conference type thing. And so it kind of surprised me that the Big 12 doesn't have something similar in place. But I think last year with Marshall was very different circumstances. I mean, your head coach left, and pretty much everybody on the team entered the transfer portal, and so they really just could not play in a bowl.
Hawaii really did that to the Tigers. That was not the vid.
Yeah, that was the pretty much the exact same thing.
That was the quit.
Yeah, and you could kind of throw that on top of it and say it was COVID.
You could throw anything into the vid hopper.
Oh no, you absolutely could, and that's exactly what Hawaii did. Speaking
I had to change my hairstyle because of the vid.
Yeah, that's right. But that's exactly what they did.
Because remember, in the dumbest era in recorded history, we had lines on the floor out at grocery stores showing us which way to go.
That's exactly right. We did. And speaking of Hawaii, they're going to another Hawaii Bowl. They'll play Cal in the Hawaii Bowl this year, so that should be a lot of fun for Landon Schmidt's team. And
I'm not going to tell where I was recently, but it still had kind of the 2020, 2021 lingo up in a bathroom about the vid and how to properly wash your hands.
Love that. Well, hey.
My grandmother and my mother taught me that about 3 or 4 years of age, how to do that. But it had to sign up, and all the kind of the protocol. I tore the sign down.
Sometimes people need just a little gentle reminder, Brett.
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget how to wash our hands, I think.
I wish I could have put up a sign, common sense.
Well, that would
instead of how to wash your hands properly.
That'd probably be
I did. I ripped the whole sign down, threw it away. I mean, it had little stickums on the back of it that somebody had gone through and picked it up.
Sure. Oh, wow.
or placed them there.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Well, I think we're well past that. I don't think we need. I think everyone knows how to wash their hands at this point. So I don't think we need it there. But we are getting a lot of bowl news and bowls starting to be
where
announced.
Teams are going.
And we'll have a
Hawaii Bowl set, Landon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they'll play Cal, so that will be another Hawaii
Go Bows.
Bowl. Yeah,
it's a Hawaii reunion.
That's right. That's exactly right. So if Hawaii gets bowl eligible, pretty good chance where they're going to be playing.
Yeah, it was a lock as soon as they got eligible.
Yeah, but hey, a bowl is a bowl, I guess. So yeah, I'm sure we'll know. We'll learn, or get a better idea soon where the Tigers might end up going bowling. It seems like it's only down to a couple of potential spots for the Tigers, and so we'll see where they go. And obviously, a lot bigger.
What are those spots?
It feels like mainly what I've seen is Birmingham, Liberty Bowl, and I've seen a couple Fenway Bowls out there. But it feels like those three are the popular.
All right, let's use those three. And hit us up at the Sixties Log Cabin text line. Where do you want the Tigers going, and where would you go? Would you go to Boston to Fenway Park for a bowl game? Do you want another Liberty Bowl? Do you want another Birmingham Bowl, but this time in a much better stadium? Have the Tigers played at the new stadium in a Birmingham Bowl?
Not in a Birmingham Bowl. I don't.
It was still Legion, wasn't it?
I think so. That most recent Birmingham Bowl was right around the time they were opening, but I think it was still at Legion. So I don't think they have, but obviously very familiar with that stadium with UAB. Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest, bro. I don't want another Birmingham Bowl.
That's what I want to hear. All right, you tell me of those three. What do you want to do? And if you could afford to go to Boston, would you prefer that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it'd be really cool to just Fenway,
something different
as itself. I think
and Fenwayville.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Those pubs and taverns and bars and that vibe.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think seeing a football game in a baseball ballpark would be really
cool. Not just any baseball ballpark.
No, yeah, I mean it's one of the best. So I mean, I
think Tiger fans would very much enjoy the bar called the Caskin Flagon. It is. It's hard to pronounce, but it's
Sure.
fun to be there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it'd be a lot of fun to get to the Fenway Bowl. I know that's been a popular spot over the last couple of years, people projecting. So I think if I had to rank those three, I would say Fenway, Liberty, Birmingham, 1, 2, 3, probably in that order is kind of how I would go. Now, I've seen some projecting, and I know ESPN's projection, they've had the same projection, or at least one, because they have two analysts who do projections. One of them has run with the same prediction 3 weeks in a row of Memphis and Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl. I'm fine with another Liberty Bowl. I'd like a different opponent than Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. Like, it'd be like a little bit of a rubber match for the ultimate Liberty Bowl champion. But, give me Cincinnati, give me Arizona State, give me something new other than another matchup against Iowa State.
Yeah, great people.
Yeah.
Just kind of done it enough.
Especially so recent. Yeah, I mean, both those games feel like both just happened.
One thing I do love about them, when they all come down here, they think they're headed to warm weather to the south.
Yeah, no.
Just don't tell them.
Yeah. Coldest days of the year. But they have a great fan base at Iowa State. It's just kind of, we've seen you already a couple times in the bowl games. Let's try something new.
And really and truly, I think it begs the question of, for the Tigers that had no big judgments on the attendance over these last 2 years because of the construction.
Sure.
But even at some games, I got eyeballs.
Yeah.
I could see empty seats for decent matchups.
Yeah.
Liberty Bowl, like every bowl, they've got to make money off ticket sales.
Yeah.
Why pay that exorbitant price when you didn't all year?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, and I'm sure the staff over at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl will probably take that into account as well. So it'll be interesting to see where the Tigers land. Speaking of Tiger football news, there is some reporting over at Arkansas. I saw Trey Biddy posted it earlier that it looks like Tim Cramsey is going to follow Ryan Silverfield to Arkansas to be the offensive coordinator at Arkansas. Nothing official has been announced, but that's the way it's looking and starting to be reported over there.
For you, Brian, you a Tiger fan, any staff member that Ryan Silverfield has already secured or may, is it, oh no, don't take him? Is it a single one?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I really didn't figure many would probably stay, especially kind of coordinators, that thing, unless they were going and trying to get the head coaching position. I think Tim Cramsey was a really good is a really good offensive coordinator, and if it was something where the next coach came in and the announcement came that Tim Cramsey was going to stay as the offensive coordinator, would have been completely fine with it. But I don't think it just absolutely crushes you.
With every move that they make with Ryan Silverfield and that staff, this is a staff that finished sixth this year in the American.
That's right.
Let's don't overdo the American.
Yeah.
Because it's better in football than basketball. Let's don't overdo it.
No, definitely not.
It finished sixth.
Yeah.
And it might not even be that. Let me put it a different way. We know they only finished ahead of 6 teams.
That's right. Yeah. No, I mean, look, we talked about it a lot. I mean, the way the season ended for the Tigers, really wasn't good. But I think, offensively, I think they did some good things this year. Obviously, the last pretty much half of the season, you're going out there, you're rolling out a quarterback that's basically on one leg, and your defense really didn't stop anybody. So I don't think all the issues were with the offense and Tim Cramsey and kind of his play calling. But at the same time, when I'm Arkansas and I have not had any success over the last couple of years, and I look over and I see an Arkansas team that didn't finish anywhere near playing in the championship game of their conference, and you bring over their head coach and their offensive coordinator, I would probably expect better. If you're going to bring over Ryan Silverfield, let's kind of stack it up with some coordinators that have SEC experience, that have Power 4 experience, and so far it looks like that's not what they're doing over there.
And now with what Vandy's doing in this short window, the Clark Lee years, you can make a case Arkansas is the hardest job in the league.
Yeah.
Made harder by conference expansion, closed off to Kansas City and St. Louis because of Mizzou, closed off to that player that either didn't or couldn't get to Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Lawton, Oklahoma City, other places in Oklahoma. They've got other options.
Yeah.
The player that may be making a second or third choice out of Texas, A&M in Texas.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not an easy job at all. And
at one time, Arkansas had success recruiting in Louisiana.
Yeah. Not much anymore. A lot is certainly
not for
changed.
top shelf.
No, definitely not.
And you cannot win on Northwest Arkansas high school players playing in Bentonville, Fayetteville, and Springdale.
No.
You can't win in SEC with them.
No, you absolutely cannot.
You can have some really good little high school teams.
Sure. No, yeah.
That are
you definitely
machines.
can. Yeah.
But you're not beating Alabama and Florida and LSU with them.
It's very different to try to translate that to the SEC. The last kind of bit of Tiger football news before we set up today's show, Jonah Dillon reporting earlier today that Western Kentucky coach Tyson Helton is no longer involved in the Memphis coaching search. Multiple sources tell the CA there was initial interest, but that's where things stand now. Process continues, so a little bit of a better idea of what things look like with at least another coach.
It's narrowing down.
There. No, it definitely is narrowing down. It feels like we're getting pretty close to who that guy will be. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Pat Smith from Jocks down in Birmingham. He'll join us. Talk a lot of college football with him. We'll recap some of the action from over the weekend. Obviously, all the coaching changes, college football playoff, conference championship game. A lot to get to with Pat Smith. We'll do that in our next segment at 3:30. 3:45, we'll talk the Tigers and their win last night over New Orleans. A pretty easy win for the Tigers, but they had some injury news going into the game, had some injuries during the game, so we will talk a lot about that at the end of this hour. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He'll join us. We'll talk a ton of NBA. We'll get to the Grizzlies and all the other news out of the NBA, including what happens with Giannis Antetokounmpo, who went down with an injury in the Bucks game last night, and it sounds like he'll be sidelined for the next 2 to 4 weeks. 4:30, Brad Bellamy from Landers Ford. He usually joins us on Fridays, but nice enough to join us a little bit earlier this week on Thursday. We'll get to his Landers locks. We'll also talk a lot about Landers Ford. Keep in mind, Jalen Wells going to be at the dealership out in Collierville on Saturday, so we'll definitely talk about that with Brad, get some more info on that, but make sure you plan to get out there to Collierville and get those autographs, get those pictures with Jalen Wells. Going to be a really fun time out there, but he'll join us at 4:30. 4:45, big number of the day, 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of Tigers with him. We'll talk Tiger football with the coaching search. We'll also talk Tiger basketball. He was on the call last night on ESPN+, so plenty to get to with Greg Gaston. 5:30, talk about what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The hot tub and swim spa clearance sales, they're going on right now at Family Leisure. Hot tubs starting at $24.99. Swim spas starting at $14,999. And in-stock patio furniture now up to 50% off. Hot tub covers starting at $249 with spa steps and cover lifts starting at just $99. Special financing is available, and if you mention this ad, receive a free gift with that hot tub purchase. So head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime. We're live and we're local, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Tiger fans at the Sissy's Log Cabin text line, tell us what bowl you want, Birmingham, Memphis, or Fenway Park in Boston. He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer's Landon Schmidt, and we're always live and always local from our Family Leisure Studios. And every day this hour brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all the remaining 2025s and the 2026 models and special leasing options always. You can call them at 901-334 9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at LexusOfMemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is this Memphis head coaching search and just kind of everything regarding football right now. It really feels like we're getting down to an answer and that things are wrapping up in this search process. Now, does that mean we'll get some sort of report today? Probably not, but it feels like over the next couple of days into the weekend, we will have an answer, whether it is a report coming out or whether it is the official announcement from the university on who that next head coach is. We talked a lot about who those possible candidates are, who some of those top guys are, and a couple of them, including Jerry Mack at Kennesaw State, play in championship games this weekend. Really, tomorrow night, a handful of Friday night conference championship games to kick off the weekend. So it feels like we'll definitely have an answer by the end of the weekend. But even with all of the questions around the head coaching, an early signing period getting started yesterday on day one, Memphis signed 15 of the current 20 commits in that class. They did have 4 guys decommit. I believe 2 flip to Arkansas to follow Ryan Silverfield. The other 1 signed with Tulsa, and then I think the 4th, a JUCO guy, has not committed anywhere else. But a pretty good day, all things considered, for Memphis recruiting on the first day of the early signing period. And we'll see if in the next couple of days we get answers on who that next head coach will be.
My top story, Bama. They're going for their 11th. They've won 11 SEC championship games. They're going for number 12. They're 11-4 all time in the SEC version of its Super Bowl. Georgia's won 5. They're 5-7. The most common matchup is Bama against Florida. That's happened 10 times, including the first 3, the first 2 at Legion Field in Birmingham. 3 through 34 all been in Atlanta, either at the Georgia Dome or Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But how much longer are we going to have these championship games? We go to 16-team playoff. I think we're going to need this spot on the calendar for opening round games. And if we don't have that, do you really want to be playing in a championship game this week and in a first round game next week? These 2 weekends we're going to have, I think, for playoffs going forward. But I do want it settled on the field, because if we didn't have this championship game this year, who really is the champion of the SEC? Yeah. We had a 4-way tie. Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, A&M. Ole Miss only played Georgia among those 3. Bama only played Georgia among those 3. And Georgia only played Ole Miss and Alabama. They did not play A&M. So how would you settle it? I don't want to settle it on some schematic tiebreaker in the league office. Yeah. I want it on the field.
Yeah, and that's where it gets tricky, because I don't know what the answer to that is, and I think you would get some sort of long, drawn out we're going to this.
But you don't want this hurting you for the ultimate prize.
No, you definitely don't. So it is a lot of questions up in the air when it comes to these championship games.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it is the Tigers and their win last night over New Orleans. An 86-70 win for the Tigers, but it was never really that close.
All praise to Vegas.
They are really good. We played off that 16.5 line, a 16-point win.
Did you
for
see
Memphis.
how it happened?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was, and I was, Brett, because of Tiger Bankroll, I was hoping it happened, and when it did, I was very happy.
If you lost that way, it's too cruel.
It's just brutal, But hey, that's gambling for you. It happens.
That's why they call it gambling.
That's right. That's exactly why they call it gambling. But it really was never even that close. Tigers were up by 20 and kind of put it into cruise control. They were playing around with different rotations. They put in some guys. Mason Matthews, a guy that I maybe has gotten in one game before last night. He checked in with about 8 minutes. Yeah, 24, 25, somewhere in that range. He checked in with about 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes left in the game. So it was all Tigers last night. They looked really, really good. But going into that game last night, you had some injuries. Curtis Givens III did not play with an injury. Ashton Hardaway did not play with an injury. Julius
had
Hedberg
some healthy.
Yeah. You did.
Players didn't play.
Yeah, and with Aaron Bradshaw, who didn't play, Theron Oscilla only played
Support
about
the coach
a minute,
100%
50
in it.
seconds. Yeah, I mean,
Send a message.
Yeah, you absolutely have to. And I mean, Aaron Bradshaw really has given you nothing all season, and what's going on behind the scenes with those guys. I think you definitely have to address it. And then a guy like Julius Thedford, who played extremely well to start the night, he left the game with an injury, never returned. It looked like he was okay. It looked like at times he wanted to come back in. Coaches said not tonight. So hopefully we get some good news on that, and that it wasn't anything too major with him.
That's my not top story. The Tigers, they definitely got better in the Bahamas, even in defeat. They got better. Showed it last week against SIU. Showed it last night against UNO. Now comes Baylor. Baylor will be the best team the Tigers have faced, maybe other than Purdue, all year.
Yeah.
Probably the last really, Louisville maybe, best team they played. Mississippi State at
Vanderbilt, the way that Vanderbilt's been playing.
And Vandy. But Baylor is at the top, at the top of the sport. Only one loss this year so far for Baylor, so we need some energy in the building. There was none last night.
Yeah, there was not.
Scan count just over 3,000. It was really poor crowd last night. Saturday's got to be a lot better.
Got to be a lot better. We'll talk more about that game a little bit later in this hour, but that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we return, we're talking college football. Pat Smith from Jocks down in Birmingham. He joins us next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis is a love song to soul and style. With the full suite of sought-after designers, brilliant natural diamonds, an elegant bar, luxury VIP lounge, and more, a trip to our store is an experience like no other. Just like the city we love. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience Sissy's for yourself. Memphis is our home, and we're your jeweler.
Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations. Fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. I'd sure love to see you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Sports 56 traffic. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. And we got to talk some college football. Joining us now from Jocks down in Birmingham, Pat Smith. He joins us every Thursday to talk college football. Pat, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to. I know the big coach that everybody wants to talk about, but I want to talk about the coaching move down in your neck of the woods. Auburn hiring Alex Golesh. It was reported last week that Alex Golesh was on his way to Fayetteville to be the next Arkansas coach, but last minute, Sunday, he is announced as the Auburn head coach. What are people in your area, listeners, your thoughts on Auburn hiring Alex Golesh to be their next head coach?
Guys, always a pleasure to be with y'all, and excitement. A lot of Auburn people, they are happy, and the reason why they're really happy is because DJ Durkin, their defensive coordinator, is sticking around. Because that was one of the things that was happening instead of John Sumrall, who was the leading candidate as they made the turn down the stretch in regards to the Auburn search. And then at the last minute, John Sumrall had an opportunity to go to Florida, and there was some back and forth in regards to John Sumrall's staff at Auburn. And so last minute it changed, and Golesh ended up getting it. So Auburn people see what Golesh has been able to do as an OC at Tennessee. He was part of obviously getting it going there in Knoxville, what he's done in Tampa. He was a thorn in Alabama's side for back-to-back years when Alabama played them. So they're happy. As long as Durkin was still there, it didn't matter if it was Brett or myself being named the Auburn head coach. Auburn people wanted to make sure that the defensive side of the ball was taken care of. So they're very high on Golesh so far.
Yeah, and we know he can coach offense, and we know DJ Durkin can coach defense, and we know Auburn always gets recruits from a great pool of players. I think in Golesh's press conference, he talked about that 250-mile radius kind of around Auburn, and it gets down into the Panhandle, into Georgia, to Birmingham. A lot of great high school football players in that area, and a program that feels like it has got its act together. I think John Cohen did a good job. Now to Florida. We know the first Lane Kiffin rumors were about Florida. Florida fans thought they had him. Pat, I have no time for the Florida fan that in a year or two, we never really wanted Lane Kiffin. Scott got scared of him. He found out something about him or some garbage like that. Here's what it was. Lane got scared of Scott.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any question about that. The Florida people, they're going to be revisionist history without a shadow of a doubt. It's just funny that now James Madison looks like they're going to try to hire Billy Napier, so Sunbelt Billy is going to continue on with that moniker, I guess. But listen, no, I think John Sumrall is a home run hire for them. I really do, and I know it was kind of a long journey to get to where they ended up. But I think when it's all said and done, guys, I think John Sumrall is going to be the one that of all this coaching moves, and that includes Lane Kiffin, I think more people's probably going to be talking and applauding that hire than any of the others.
Pat, that's funny you use that baseball term. Like all of us, me and Bryant and Landon, you're a
hardcore baseball guy,
and you hold the line for the Cardinals down in Birmingham against all those Brave fans. We appreciate the good fight that you always fight. Mm-hmm. So let's stay with that. You say home run. I said Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas was a CNI single.
or a Texas League blooper, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
duck snort.
You could,
Well, kind of the pop up that Arkansas dropped against Oregon State.
Exactly. I mean, listen, you guys are boots on the ground there, so I mean, I can't speak about the Memphis program. I do know they came to Birmingham being a top 25 team, and they got beat by one of the worst Division I football teams I've seen in a long time. In UAB football. So it seemed like that Silverfield's been trending in the opposite direction the last 3 years. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that front. So it was a bit, to me, like a desperation hire by Hunter Yurachek. And listen, Silverfield might end up winning the SEC championship and go to the CFP. But just from my point of view in Birmingham, I thought that was a desperation hire by Yurachek. They needed someone to run the football program, and Silverfield just happened to be the right guy at the right time.
All right, so we got home run, we got CNI single. What was the Auburn hire using the baseball comparison?
I think the Auburn hire was a triple, and the reason I say this is I go back.
Or Bang Bang play at third base.
I'm going to say it was a gap shot double, and he stretched it into a triple. Bang Bang, he was safe. How about that?
There you go.
My type of player right there.
Kind of a Vince Coleman triple.
Exactly, in the old Busch Stadium. Absolutely.
Right.
385 in the gaps. So this is why. Brian Harston was a used car salesman, okay? That's what Brian Harston was. Hugh Freeze was a televangelist, okay? Alex Golish is a football coach. So that's why I call it a double stretched into a triple, because this guy is a football coach. Like he's not there to like win the press conference. He's not there to, debate, some kind of psychological book he read over the weekend like Brian Harston wanted to. I mean, this guy is a football coach. And so that's why I give it high marks for Auburn, because that's what Auburn needs. Auburn needs a football coach. DJ Durkin is a football coach. Even when he ran the team the last month of the season, it was drastically different because he's a football coach. And I think that's what Auburn needed, and that's what Auburn got.
All right, Pete Golding, baseball terms.
Baseball terms, I think it was a triple. And the reason why is because Pete Golding...
I went ground rule double.
Okay,
ground rule double. Okay. And the reason I say triple is because, first and foremost, Pete Golding, people love playing for Pete Golding. He's infectious, obviously covering him at Alabama. I'll never forget when Nick Saban said, of all the people I've had down here that's run our defenses, and that even goes back to Kirby Smart, he said Pete Golding was the very best at getting in front of the dry erase board and schematically drawing defenses and going to the board and kind of coming up with ways to stop offenses and things of that nature. He said Pete did it as well as anybody that has ever coached for Nick Saban. The players love playing for him. Basically, seeing what he's done at Ole Miss, I know at times the defense has been porous, but you know what? The last 2 years, the defense has done enough, and it's been solid. And I think giving Pete this opportunity, because he loves Ole Miss, he loves being there, and that says a lot. I think Ole Miss did a really nice job by being able to get him locked up.
All right, using Old Busch Stadium again, he kind of a Willie McGee, lace one into the gap off that old surface at Busch Stadium that was like a trampoline. It goes into the stands. Next guy up drives him in, and the next guy up is going to be a good offensive guy, and I think it's going to be Joe Judge.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. And you're talking about like a Tom Herr. When Tom Herr would
Here
kind
we
of
go, man.
That's right. Tom
play
Herr
the
would
heat
come
is
up.
on by the Eagles. That's all we need for this segment, Pat.
Absolutely. No, you're right. You put that mix in there. Listen, I think everyone's counting Ole Miss out in this college football playoff. The roster's still intact. I know the guy wearing the visor that likes to be the showman on the sidelines is no longer there, but the nuts and bolts of that really good football team is intact. And listen, there might be some of that pressure laid off of them a little bit now, where they can go out and play the way that their talent will allow them to do so. And with Pete Golden at the helm, and obviously having, Weiss Jr. come back to play the calls from a familiarity standpoint, and then and with Joe Judge and things like that. I think Ole Miss has set them up in a very nice job. But I think Keith Carter, the way that Keith has been able to kind of take this, it seemed like at times from the national media, not people in the SEC because we know what's going on, but the national media that wanted to take shots at Ole Miss and say this was a rudderless program and the ship was drifting into the rocks. I think Keith Carter has done an outstanding job. His leadership and what he was able to do, watching that interview he had with Richard Cross yesterday, and just the way that, not that Richard was trying to set him up, because we know Richard doesn't do that as an interviewer, but I thought his pointed questions, there were plenty of opportunities for Keith Carter to slam Lane Kiffin, but he took the high road, and just the way that he conducted himself just tells you the direction that the program's in great hands with Keith Carter.
It sure is. All right, finishing the baseball comparisons, final one. Lane Kiffin digging into the batter's box. What was it? What is it?
Well, Lane Kiffin is, what's the old saying? You thought you had a triple, but you were born on third base. What's that old saying?
Yep.
That's how I think of Lane Kiffin.
I think it's a grand slam, Pat. I think he will crush it and will win 2 or 3 national championships.
Yeah.
Well, listen, when you have these state institutions, and we've been told a million times, and everybody is in alignment, and forget about the fact that Alabama is paying Nick Saban $500,000 a year, and seeing that now Nick Saban is a consultant for LSU, and he's writing these glowing memoirs and these anecdotes about Lane Kiffin for the media guide for LSU. You got to wonder how much longer Alabama's going to be writing him a check. But no, listen, Lane will do good there because we've all seen it. I mean, my goodness gracious. If Les Miles can win a national championship and Ed Orgeron can win a national championship, you mean to tell me that Lane Kiffin can't win a national championship? I think if Brian Kelly, you gave Brian Kelly another year or two, I think Brian Kelly would have been in the college football playoff. But just the way these things are now in college football, there is no more patience. And listen, Lane will be in the same situation. If he loses 2 games next year, or if he doesn't find himself as a high seed and at least get them in the CFP and make some noise, they're going to be back in the exact same situation they were with Brian Kelly. Don't be fooled by what you're seeing right now. Those people will turn on him in a heartbeat.
The playoff format may change, but where the championship game will be played for the next 2 years. This year in Miami in January 26 coming up. Next year, 27, Vegas, and then in 28, New Orleans. If I'm the LSU fans, that's the one I got circled. Hey, big boy, get us there.
Yes. No, there's no question about that. And it's interesting because you brought up the championship game for the CFP. I'm beginning to wonder, guys, and I'll be in Atlanta this weekend covering the game with Alabama and Georgia. Based on what's going to happen with Alabama and the CFP, if for some reason, they don't get in the CFP, which means they didn't beat Georgia, and then all of a sudden, even though they were ranked where they were the other night, they get leapfrogged and they get left out, then the question has to be asked, why are we playing these conference championship games if you ultimately are going to be penalized for going and trying to play for it? Yeah. And I think that is a serious conversation that, depending on what happens this weekend, especially in the SEC, there's a lot of discussion that's going to be had about potentially getting rid of that.
Yeah, there definitely will be. Well, Pat, you mentioned the conference championship game. What do you expect to see on Saturday, and who do you think ultimately wins?
Well, both teams are beat up. I can tell you right now from an Alabama perspective, their number 1 tight end, Josh Cuevas, he's going to be out for a few more weeks. They found a running game with Jam Miller last week in the Iron Bowl against Auburn. He had 83 yards rushing. Alabama had a really nice running game. He hurt his lower part of his leg. He's not going to play this weekend. I know he's listed as questionable, but I've been told that don't expect him to play. So that's a question mark. You got offensive line issues at Georgia. I see this game basically being kind of a repeat of what you saw last time. I don't think Alabama's going to go 13 of 19 on third down like they did in the first meeting. I expect this to be a knockdown, drag-out, sort of like you saw between Georgia and Georgia Tech last week. I think it's a very close game. I like Alabama 21-20 because, once again, I have no faith in Alabama's field goal kicking. It's going to be a defensive struggle for both teams. I think Bama, just because they continue to own Georgia, they've never lost to Georgia in Atlanta, And, of course, Kirby Smart's had problems with Alabama for some time now. So give me Alabama 21-20.
And Pat, I'm with you. I think low scoring, very defensive, and get ready for it. If that's the case, from 4 o'clock on Central Time on the equivalent of third grade class Twitter, that's what it is. It's third graders mostly on it. Get ready, boring OSCC. Why are we rewarding this?
No, you're right. I mean, it would be the equivalent of let's go back in time to 2011 after the 9-6 game in Tuscaloosa between LSU and Alabama in overtime, and then they said, okay, well, let's do a redo. Let's have a rematch in the national championship game, and the world almost ended. And then, of course, then the birth of the 4-team college football playoff was soon right around the corner. Listen, it's going to be interesting to see what Yurachek says on Sunday. It's going to be interesting to see how all this unfolds. If BYU beats Texas Tech, if Alabama loses to Georgia, what's going to happen with Notre Dame and Miami? I mean, and of course you got Steve Sarkisian still screaming that they should be in the college football playoff with a 3-loss team. So it's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
And Vandy trying to get a pickup game with people.
Yeah.
Hey, why not? Let's go. Like, I just want to know who they were going to play. Like, seriously, who was Texas going to come up there and play them again? No. I mean,
Miami? Get the U out there?
Is Notre Dame, is Clark Lee going to call his old friends at Notre Dame and say, hey, y'all want to come down here and meet us, or we can come up there and play? And I don't know. It was,
and you got to love that they even tried it, but yet we can't do anything else scheduling wise on the fly.
No.
It's got to be 19 years before they actually meet.
Well, and like, we didn't learn anything during COVID, right? Remember how all of a sudden we were able to change things on a dime? Remember that? I mean,
yeah, because somebody sneezed.
Exactly. Let's clean the stadium out. So, but listen, it should be an exciting weekend for sure, especially around the SEC.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun all weekend long. Pat, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next Thursday.
Be safe.
Anytime that I can drop a Tom Herr line on the Memphis radio, I'm a happy man.
Absolutely.
If we'd only gone Lonnie Smith.
Lonnie Smith, or how about Sixto Lascano? You want to go him?
Yeah,
very good.
Love it.
Very
Thanks,
good.
Pat.
All right,
Thank you,
guys.
Pat.
Y'all have a good one. Take care.
Right back at you. Pat Smith joining us every week to talk some college football. Always a blast with him. Well, we need to get to another break, and when we return, we're switching gears. Got to talk some Tiger basketball. They were winners last night, a 16-point win over New Orleans. We'll talk about it next on Sports Time.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals, and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013, 800-444-2013, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
The 2025 Range Rover Sport sits right at the heart of the Land Rover lineup, offering a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility. Smaller and more agile than a full-size Range Rover, it's a great option for everyone who wants luxury and practicality. Every model comes with 8-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive standard. Whether you navigate city streets or tackle rough terrain, Range Rover Sport has you covered. Every drive is powerful and breathtaking. The 2025 Range Rover Sport is the epitome of sporting luxury. Test drive one at Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, it was a 16-point victory last night for the Tigers over the Privateers of New Orleans, a game where Tigers came out hot and really never let up most of the way until about halfway through the second half, kind of put it in cruise control. New Orleans able to cut into the deficit, make it that 16-point final. So a new starting lineup out there last night: Doug McDaniel, Simon Majok, William Wharton, Hassan Abdul-Hakim, and Julius Thedford, the 5 starters. So that is 2 guys making their first start of the season. I think Thedford, that was his second start of the year. Simon Majok, his 3rd or 4th start of the young season. So a lot of different pieces out there, and still feels like Penny Hardaway trying to figure out kind of what this team is and who he can really rely on this team.
I think I liked the thing I liked the most last night was the play of Quante Berry. You know, get to where he can push for more playing time, be counted on, and come through. I'm going to support Penny Hardaway every time on a discipline matter. Every time. I like sending a message to those players. Here's the thing about it. They got to receive the message. Yeah. Because how many times can you play that?
Yeah, it's a great point. And, we'll see how they respond to that. And, if you see a change, obviously, a lot of people during the game kind of were wondering if Aaron Bradshaw and Thierno Silla maybe a little banged up, that being the reason they didn't play last night. Then we saw Thierno Silla get in that second half. Yeah, I mean, barely was out there.
Right.
And then
that was a message as well.
Exactly. And then, Aaron Bradshaw, we find out after the game, a coach's decision that he did not play last night. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a message being sent, and certainly to 2 guys that started the season in the starting lineup. And, the question now is, do those guys answer? But, yeah, when you talk about Quante Berry, he's had some really nice moments this year. It's just trying to find some consistency with him. And, I think a guy that can really help this team. You loved what you saw from Julius Thedford early in that game. I mean, he started the game on a 5-0 run, I think had the first 8 points for the Tigers, but then he goes down with an injury, was leading the team up until that injury. So, yeah, I mean, we talked yesterday about trying to find that next option after Doug McDaniel, maybe who's that number 2, who's that number 3, and I think Julius Thedford and Quante Berry really showed some promise last night.
And it's starting to mold into a team. You see it developing, that it starts with Doug McDaniel.
Yep.
And I think it starts with Doug McDaniel as the traditional point guard, as the facilitator, and scoring kind of the second option.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you'd like, and that's what you saw last night with 10 assists and 11 points. And yeah, I mean, he is by far the probably most talented player right now on this team, and this team's going to go as far as he goes. And so, yeah, he can do it in just a lot of different ways. He can do it by scoring. He can do it more as that facilitator. And so, yeah, I think a more all-around Doug McDaniel is, I think, a better Doug McDaniel than what we've seen the last couple of years, is just a scoring guy.
Very, very early. Hard to have too many matter-of-fact comments. But where do you think, is this one of Scott Drew's best Baylor teams? Where does it rank of of the Drew Baylor teams. We had one that won it all.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that.
No, yeah, I certainly don't think it's one of his best teams. I think it's a really good team. I think they've got some good pieces. I've only seen one or two of their games this year, so I haven't seen a lot of them. But, I mean, so far I've really liked what I've seen. I mean, it's kind of that traditional Scott Drew type team. He's got a lot of athletes, but a lot of really tough guys on that team. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a tough test on Saturday for this Tiger team, and it's gonna be a test because we talk about getting better at the Bahamas, and you come back and you've got two games that you had to win, and I think you hope that you knew you were going to win those games when you stepped on the court, and so now it's really going to be the challenge over these next four games. Okay, how better are you? How good of a team are you? Because these next four none of them are going to be easy.
Do we? I know on CBS. Do we know the announced team?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen if it's been announced yet or not.
I don't imagine they would roll out Iron Eagle and Raftery this early, do you?
No, probably not.
That's the A team, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything, so I really don't know who it will be. I would kind of be shocked if it's those guys, but hey, I mean, if it is, that'd be great.
Does Hollinger still contribute some on CBS? I don't know that I saw him last year on any.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't remember.
They, like everybody else, probably figured him out.
Probably. So yeah, I don't know who will be on that call on Saturday.
Yeah, remember because they tried to have him as kind of a second analyst,
yeah.
And he did a game from here 2 years ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking I don't know that I saw him at all last year.
I don't remember him, or at least hearing him in any games last year. But I also don't remember very well, so it could be more on me. Than
most of his work is very forgettable.
Well, yeah, that also plays a role. But yeah, I mean, all things considered, I thought last night was an impressive performance. They were knocking down shots. It was pretty much everybody. 6 guys finished in double figures last night for the Tigers. So you're getting it from just about everybody. And because of that, the type of win it was, you got to pretty much see everybody outside of Aaron Bradshaw, who again coaches decision.
And like we said earlier, hopefully a much better crowd Saturday.
Yeah, no, you definitely want that, and hopefully playing a team like Baylor that will bring people out. Now it's going up against conference championship games and different things like that.
During the heart of the SEC game.
Yeah, no, it's people are going to have to make a decision for sure, and so you hope that a lot of people go down and support that Tiger team, but. We'll see on Saturday what it looks like. But we need to wrap up this first hour and get to a break. When we return, we're switching gears, talking the NBA. Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He joins us next.
With Cyber Week savings at the Home Depot, get up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $500 off select innovative appliances like GE Profile. Add a touch of ease to your holiday with the all-in-one combo to wash and dry your laundry in one machine. And refrigerators with built-in convenient features like the dual dispense autofill water pitcher. Shop Cyber Week savings on select appliances in-store and online now at the Home Depot. Offer valid 12/4 through 12/10, U.S. only. See store online for details.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
It's takeover time, and you'll know when. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and the takeover time I mentioned is when your house has been on the market for so long and you want somebody to come in, take over, properly market it, and get it sold. People often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon, because I have a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and when. It involves preparation before you go on the market, along with proper presentation and accurate pricing based on our ever-changing market and rates, and being made aware of what's going on around you so you can make intelligent decisions, not merely guessing. Call me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com and let me take your listing over and get it sold. I may be lousy at golf, but I sure do sell some homes. Call me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Kevin Kugler here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Week 14 kicks off with a matchup of playoff bubble teams when Jared Goff and the Lions battled Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Detroit stands at 7-5 on the season, but is coming off a loss last week. Now they face a 6-5-1 Dallas team looking for a fourth straight win. Ross Tucker joins me for the call on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, Tina. I'm still helping with a couple of wrecks we had earlier. Right now, it's trying to build through Midtown on 240 South, especially all the way down the north there from Union. It's heavier than it was. I-40, especially going eastbound over here at Wolford, Hollywood, all the way over to White Station. Weimer's Jewelry is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. Check them out this holiday season and shop local. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden, weekdays from 11 to 1. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers, Ford, and Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour on this Thursday afternoon. Got to talk some NBA. We do it at this time every single Thursday afternoon with Keith Smith.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. Keith, thanks so much for joining us. The Grizzlies been playing a lot better over the last week. Now they've been beating teams that are around their level in terms of record, teams that are struggling to start the season. We got an update today. Coach Tomas Islo saying that John Morant, they consider him now day-to-day moving forward. But what have you seen over the last week and a half from this Grizzlies team, as it seems like they've been playing a lot better?
Yeah, it feels like they're a little more together, a little more bought in to each other. I don't want to be sacrilegious here, but it feels a little grit and grindy with this group, right? They're just kind of being physical. They're getting after it. I think Zach Edey is helping them to set a tone in some of these games. And I know some have screamed about they're not beating anybody. Well, you got to beat those teams too, right? And if they're losing to those teams, we're going to be having a different conversation. But they're not, and you got to get it turned away or turned around at some point. And what's good for the Grizzlies is nobody in the Western Conference at the bottom part of that play-in tournament picture has run away. Everybody's still right there in range, and even the teams a little bit further up are not that far off. So if Memphis can keep this strong play going, they might start to continue this climb in the standing.
Yeah, and you mentioned Zach Edey. He has looked really good since returning from injury. For you, and I believe if I remember correct, you're pretty high on Zach Edey coming out of college. A lot of people were either very hit or miss with Zach Edey as a prospect in that draft. But what have you seen kind of development-wise most from year one in the NBA to now what you're seeing currently with how he's playing for the Grizzlies?
I think he's using his size a lot more effectively on both ends of the floor. I think they're kind of letting him. I think there was some carryover with Purdue, where Purdue basically said, don't ever foul because we don't have anybody to put in for you if you foul anyone. And I think he was a little reluctant to use his size. I think the Grizzlies have kind of said, hey, just play. If you get in foul trouble, you get foul trouble. And part of that is nothing we don't deal with Jaren Jackson Jr. on a nightly basis, so might as well figure it out with you too. But I think for him, it's now you're seeing him be a lot more physical. You're seeing him go to the glass a lot harder, and he's just got that really soft, nice touch. And I love that Memphis is leaning into, hey, if one of our best offensive options is the old school post-up play, then guess what? We're going to run old school post-up plays, and he's doing really well in delivering with that.
Keith, get Ja back, him perform well, the team get over 500. Okay, try to be in one of those playoff spots. Get Ja back, team doesn't perform well. Could Jaren Jackson be in a move around deadline?
I mean, maybe. We'll see. I think because he's on just starting the new contract this year, I think we're in a space where the Grizzlies might be a little more hesitant to move him. I think that might be more of, hey, he could still be here and be a part of this. I do think they would, maybe they have already, at least start to entertain the idea of maybe it is time to move on from John Morant if he returns and the team backslides. But I don't know. I'm not entirely sure where they're going to go with that stuff. I think they're a little more focused right now, at least, on let's get some of these guys back in the lineup with Zach Edey, with a couple of our other guys, and let's see where we go forward from here, because I think the building blocks are all there of being a pretty good team, but the question is putting it together game after game, day after day, and going out there and stacking wins, because if you go back to just kind of floating, lose a couple, win one, lose a couple more, you're not going to really get anywhere.
There was a story either earlier this week or last week, I don't remember where it was published, but maybe ESPN, talking about the current trade value of Ja Morant, Trae Young, and LaMelo Ball. Kind of those three young guards that a lot of people thought we'd be talking about being the face of the NBA right now, and how all three of those guys, their trade stock is kind of at an all-time low right now. When you look at those three players, Ja Morant, Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, which is the most likely to be the next traded?
That's a good way to frame it. It's probably Ja or LaMelo Ball. I don't think the Hawks are quite there with Trae Young yet. What is interesting is we have seen the Hawks have success without Trae Young in the lineup over the last few weeks. Like, they have really played pretty well, and that's, I still think for them to be the best version that they want to be and to be a dangerous playoff team, they need Trae Young in the lineup. But we have seen them play well without him. And then from there, it's, LaMelo Ball, he just can't stay on the court. He continues to pick up injuries and get hurt. John Morant, we've had some injuries with him, but we've had other stuff as well. And I think that is, anytime a player is continuously getting hurt and picking up injuries, which for Trae Young, that's not been the case. This is his first real kind of serious injury that he's had. I think teams start to say, all right, you know what, we have a real reason now to move in a different direction, and that could be how we see that play out with the with that trade market for that group of point guards.
The opposite of those guys, his career in his career, has been Chris Paul, the Iron Man. All these games, all these years, all these teams, all in the West. We never can get a break from Chris Paul in Memphis, but I didn't think it would end like this for him. Is this the end, or does somebody see a need for him on a team trying to go deep in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's interesting. Chris Paul was really good last year. He started 82 games for the Spurs and delivered and played pretty well. And I think, that led to a place where it was, all right, this guy's not bad. And maybe this is, we're going to see Chris Paul kind of take it to a new level where maybe he extends this out. Then we get the news last week where they're playing in Charlotte and Chris Paul posts, hey, last trip, to play at home and in the Charlotte area where he grew up, and that's become now a thing. So I think we're really in a spot with Chris Paul where the question is going to be, does he want to do it? He self-limited his free agent market this past year when he basically said, you know what, I want to be on the West Coast. I don't want to go play anywhere but with West Coast teams that really put him in a spot where it's got to be the Clippers or the Lakers or somebody like that, when there were other teams interested in him. So that becomes a little bit of an interesting decision there. Is he open now to going somewhere? Or does he kind of look at it and say, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this thing here. I'll give it a couple months after I'm free of the Clippers, and I'll see who needs a point guard. What is it looking like? And then maybe he picks up a spot that way. That could be how this plays out. But I think we're in a spot where this is certainly going to be interesting for Chris Paul, where we're definitely, right there near the end for him. And I think he's, made that clear. But the question is going to be where, does that end now or does that end, playing for another team?
Mm-hmm. The big one everyone's talking about in terms of trading Giannis Antetokounmpo, the reports came out earlier this week, and it looks like we could see a move soon. Now, he did get injured last night and sounds like could be out around 2 to 4 weeks. But, of course, you go over to ESPN, you look at some of these proposed trades, and you see destinations like Houston and San Antonio and Golden State, and we're sitting here in Memphis going, please don't be any of those. What do you make of this Giannis situation? Because, obviously, this isn't anything new. We were all on Giannis watch in the offseason of would he even start the season, would he even return in 2025 to the Bucks. So what happened over the last couple of weeks, last month, that got us to now this point where we're looking at when will Giannis be traded?
I think we're in a spot where for Giannis, what we're going to see kind of happen here is they are going to be, how do I put this? For him, it was the Bucks just aren't very good, right? They are not, in a place where they've played well. They are in a spot where it is, all right, they are not living up to where Giannis kind of needed them to be. And I think over the summer, the question was, all right, are you even going to do anything? Or are we just going to wait out Damian Lillard's injury and kind of go forward from there? I think now it has turned into, all right, well, we got Miles Turner. Let's see how this goes. I think, maybe we can be pretty good. And they just haven't been. They've been struggling with and without Giannis in the lineup. So now I think we're in a position with the Bucks where it becomes, all right, you know what? We have to at least be open to the idea. And I don't buy all of this. They're just opening conversation and all these other things that are being said. I think this is more about, all right, how do we handle a graceful exit for the best player in franchise history, because we are definitely moving in a different direction away from each other.
Keith, right now, if we started the playoffs right now, could anybody take Oklahoma City 6 games?
6 games? Yeah, maybe, right? Denver did. The Pacers did. So I think there is a chance that that could happen. Again, I certainly think that's possible. That could be how that plays out. So I think the Thunder are better now. I mean, we haven't even seen fully functional, Thunder yet. They haven't even had, their whole crew for even a single game healthy together this season. So that's a whole other thing. But it's going to be tough. I think, it's going to take a team like Denver, or maybe a team makes a move. I know you guys don't want him going west, but maybe a Western Conference team gets Giannis and they load up to make a run. But it's certainly going to be pretty close.
Yeah, if he goes to San Antonio, that's everybody in the West's worst nightmare.
Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, and that's the team that I really think should be saying, all right, you know what, Wemby's good, and he's this good already. Let's accelerate the timeline here. Let's go get Giannis. They can do it without, having to give up everything under the sun. And you tell me I'm opening games with Wemby, Giannis, De'Aaron Fox, one of Harper or Castle, because the other one would likely have to be in the trade, and then fill in with the role players around him. I'm willing to go to war with that against OKC.
Me too.
No kidding. So let's say it is San Antonio. What would a package for Giannis look like from the Spurs?
Yeah, it starts with Harper or Castle. It was funny when we talked about this on our front office show yesterday. There was a lot of Spurs fans that were like, nope, neither one of them. Well, then you're not getting Giannis, right? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, the problem is the Luka trade has broken people's brains where it's like, Luka didn't go for that much, and it's like, yeah, but let's put that one in a box, let's throw it in the back of the closet, and let's not talk about it in relation to other deals. So we're really in a spot where, it's got to be Harper or Castle, and then you're just filling in with the matching salaries, and then from there you're getting into, all right, what is the draft pick compensation? The Spurs have all their own picks. They've got some extra picks coming from Atlanta, from the DeJounte Murray trade. They have an extra Timberwolves pick. I think they're in a place where they're going to be able to really, do something if they decide they want to. And, of course, is Giannis going to be happy there? And that's going to be the underlying part of this. No team's going to give up a whole bunch to get Giannis to then have him turn around, in the summertime, June, July, be like, hey, I don't really want to be here either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be quite the load, whoever ends up trading for Giannis if we do get to that point. Keith, you look at a team like the Denver Nuggets. They're playing really well right now, 15-6 on the season. It feels like they're getting scoring from a ton of different options right now. They've got some injuries, obviously, with Aaron Gordon being out. What do you make of this Nuggets team as we're, a little over 20 games into the season?
Really, really good when they're kind of functioning at their best. Jokic is incredible. Jamal Murray, we saw last night. I mean, that was one of they said that was the fifth most efficient 50-point game ever in history. Like, he just was all over it. And then you have, when Aaron Gordon is there, you're kind of really ready to go. The problem has been Aaron Gordon hasn't been healthy, right? And then you get into a couple of these other guys, and you start losing other guys, and then all of a sudden you're deeper into your rotation than you really want to be. And I think that is something that they're going to have to really kind of sort through here is, all right, how do we get there and get these guys on the field all the time on the court all the time? Because if we're not able to do that, it's going to be a problem. We've really got to figure this out, because otherwise we're going to be in trouble getting these guys to, go, because they just don't have the depth, especially when we start talking about playing OKC and the other contenders in the West. That's where that lack of depth will show up and hurt them.
Keith, back to the Grizzlies and full year head coach Tomas Isolo. I don't think it would be fair to give any grades now because he's been fighting with one hand behind his back. But how do you think he has progressed dealing with the adversity this early in his tenure?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, on Grizzlies coach Tomas Isolo, he's had a lot of adversity. How do you think he's handled that in his early part of his full first year?
I think he's done okay. I think, he came in. It's extremely difficult what they asked of him last year by saying, hey, jump in here right at the very end of the season and, take over a team that's headed into the playoffs. We talked about it at the time, right? That's almost unprecedented to ask a coach to do. So then you get into a spot where, all right, now we're, a little bit deeper into this. Now we can start to evaluate, all right, who is he as a coach? What does he want to do? How does he want to run his team here? And that's now, I think, a spot where we're finally starting to see that come together a little bit here, where they're starting to put things together in a way where it is, all right, this is a Grizzlies team that is going to play his style the way he wants to play versus, last year was this mishmash of things. This year hasn't been easy either with Jaren Jackson Jr. missing time and then John Morant issues and all that. It's been kind of tough on them. So I'd like to see them get a sustained level of health with the kind of guys that they're going to go forward with, and then let's really see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Keith, you talked about Zach Edey earlier. That draft class, there was a lot of talk going into it, especially at the top with a guy like Alex Sarr. A lot of people kind of had him mocked as being that number one pick. There was all the, he doesn't want to be in Atlanta with the Hawks having the first pick. He drops to 2 with the Wizards. Last year, a fine year for him as a rookie in the NBA, but it looks like he's taking that next step. He's out right now with an injury, but you look, pretty much every stat has gone up. He's scoring the ball. He's rebounding a lot better. They're using him a lot more. He's got the ball in his hands a lot more. What are you seeing out of Alex Sarr in Washington?
Yeah, I think he's got the potential to be the best player out of that draft class. And that's not anything we weren't saying a year ago, but I think we're in a place now where we're really starting to see it all come together for him. I think the time he spent with the French team, even though it wasn't the whole run because he got hurt during the Eurobasket, but the lead up to that, playing against those guys, playing against big-time professionals, I think it really did him well. And he's got the whole package for what you want in a modern big man. He's big enough that he can play around the rim on both ends, but he can also step out and shoot. He's really a pretty smart passer. I think for him now it just becomes consistency, putting it together again, game to game to game. So it's not turning into this situation where it's like, all right, well, Alex Sarr is good once every 2-3 games. Yeah. He plays really well, and the others he's just kind of here. He just becomes consistent, and that's the story with a lot of young players, especially young big men. Big men and point guards can take a little while, and I think Alex Sarr is in a spot where he's been tasked to really kind of be two different players, be that stretch power forward a lot of his rookie year when he's playing alongside Valanciunas, then step out and play or step in rather and play a lot more as our starting center. But I think he's really coming along now pretty quickly.
You look at that draft class, and it was the draft class that came in between Victor Wembanyama, Cooper Flagg, now the draft class we're going to have this year. How will we be talking about that draft class in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I think it'll be one where when we really get into it, it'll be, all right, they're pretty good. I don't know that there's going to be any, franchise changers, and there maybe that happens with some guys, but it's been pretty solid so far, a year plus in now. And I think that's where that'll sit is it'll be, all right, we're feeling pretty good about this class versus necessarily like, all right, these guys are, loaded up with, multi-time All-Stars and maybe some, potential Hall of Famers and like, maybe that gets there. But I think for now, it's just going to be, that was a good, solid draft class, maybe a little bit better than we thought simply because of the whole idea of like, what they were in between with the all-time, generational type talent.
Yeah, that's because the way we talked about it at the time was this is just the worst draft class we've ever seen in our lives. Yeah. And it's like, man, it's a pretty good class. You look at some of those guys in there, and they're doing a really nice job in their second year.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like you said, Sarr, Risache, Castle was really good on there. So there's guys who can play for sure. And this is part of why we whenever we talk about these things, there's a rush, right, to judge things and to grade things and all these things. And it's so funny. Draft night grades are one of the things when you talk to NBA teams, they get it, right? It's all content, and they get why it gets done. But they all kind of laugh because they're like, you don't know anything about these guys till we're at least 3 years in to a season before you really have an understanding of, all right, are they even actually good or not?
And, Keith, you told us when the NBA Cup started, be patient. You'll like it as it goes on. If you don't like it, just treat it like it's a regular season game and just act like they're playing a regular season game. For the Grizzlies to pick up home against Utah and at the Clippers, that will help them.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, they were very fortunate. Now, the Clippers is still, they look at what they did last night at Atlanta, right? They showed up, they played pretty well, and they beat them. Utah can be pretty tough at times, but those are games where if you're the Grizzlies and you have any designs on we're going to run down a postseason spot, those are games you need to be thinking about, all right, these are wins for us. We're going to go and get these victories over these teams because we're ahead of them. We're going to stay ahead of them, and that's got to be kind of your mindset going into that. But, yeah, I mean, in the NBA Cup, I think, has been successful. There's no doubt when you watch these games, and you guys know I'm watching everything all year round, the players are playing a little harder. I don't know if it's the money, if it's the message that has been sent to them, but they do play harder, and that was part of the goal. Get them playing a little harder, get more interest in these games in November and early December, and, that'll be where it runs. And I think, again, I've said this over and over again, you don't make the NBA 99.9% of the time unless you're a highly competitive person. You put something highly competitive in front of coaches, players, front office, they're going to want to go win that thing. And the money is getting better year over year. So I think we're in a place where there's a lot of motivation for these teams to go get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see who ultimately wins that NBA Cup here in a couple of weeks. Well, Keith, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again next Thursday.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you, Keith. And speaking of cups, you know what tomorrow is?
Friday.
World Cup draw day.
Oh, is tomorrow World Cup? Brett, you have us covered on the World Cup. How about that?
You know I will.
I didn't think you'd have us.
And if I don't, our 4 o'clock guest tomorrow, Bruce Marshall, sure will.
That's exactly right. I did not know tomorrow was draw day. Wow, thank you. I'll put that on my calendar.
64 teams.
Yeah.
Expanded World Cup.
That's right. Yes, it is an expanded. Brett, I mean, you are our World Cup correspondent.
I'm close to maybe not getting World Cup fever, but I think it's the cause of my throat malady. I think World Cup's in my throat.
You're excited. It's a good thing to be excited about.
On Chris Paul, getting ready to wrap up a career at Basketball Ref, I went to career earnings.
Yeah.
You want to try a guess?
I do not want to try a guess. I know it's a lot of money.
Just NBA salary, not endorsements, not investments, just NBA money. $403 million. And I say worth every cent.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
played hard, played forever.
Yes.
That's the going rate.
That's right.
He had an ability few on earth have.
Yep.
He deserves every cent.
He absolutely does. So, that is just silly money. And, you're right. He deserved all of it. We have had some college football news rolling out within the last 30 minutes. Pete Thamel reporting about 20 minutes ago, Florida is expected to hire Buster Faulkner as the school's next offensive coordinator. He was successful OC at Georgia Tech, who brings SEC experience from his stints at Georgia. That has been a name that has been thrown around for the Memphis head coaching job. Looks like he is going to land at Florida. UAB has their new head coach. They are promoting interim head coach Alex Mortensen to the permanent head coaching position. And Ross Dellinger reporting about 25 minutes ago, Billy Napier has agreed to a 5-year contract to be James Madison's next head football coach. So Sunbelt Billy back where he belongs in the belt. And at JMU, he'll have all the resources to have a lot of success in that conference. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, Brad Bellamy from Landers Ford. A lot to talk about with Brad. We'll also get to his Landers locks. That's next on Sports Time.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Maria's Cantina in South Haven is not your average Tex-Mex joint because they're serving up Mexican with a twist. Maria's Scratch Kitchen is the most creative and diverse menu around. Beyond the traditional huge quesadillas, chimichangas, and fajitas, Maria serves up hand-rolled Latin egg rolls, Cajun and Creole items like catfish, gumbo, and boudin balls, as well as the best sandwiches and 8-ounce burgers in town. Wash it all down with a house margarita for only $5.50 and happy hour every day till 6. MariasCantina.com, 6717 Airways, Mexican with a twist. Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Here's something that'll freak you out. Most people think their insurance will cover them if disaster strikes, but here's the truth. Many are wrong. You pay your premiums, you assume you're protected, then the fine print hits. exclusions, loopholes, limits. Suddenly that coverage you counted on isn't really coverage at all. It's not your agent's fault. Their job is to sell policies. You need somebody in your corner who protects you, not the insurance company. That's why I like My Policy Advocate. I like what they're doing. They take your actual policies, home, life, auto, break them down in plain English. They show you what's really covered and what isn't. Here's the best part. Cost 27 cents a day. That's it. Less than a cup of coffee. For peace of mind to make sure your family's protected when it matters most. When disaster hits, you don't want surprises. You want certainty. Before you assume you're covered, go to mypolicyadvocate.com. Let them review your policy. You might be shocked at what you'll find. mypolicyadvocate.com.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet piquilla peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026. This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, T-Dot's trying to untangle a couple of wrecks out here in the last few minutes, and right on schedule with that rush hour traffic trying to get through Midtown in a couple of spots. I-40 around Chelsea. As you go outbound on Sam Cooper, that's only going to get heavier in the next few minutes. Speaking of which, it's heavy over here now at times with volume on 240 East and West between Walnut Grove and Poplar. Hey, give the gift of clean this holiday season. Save 40% off right now. Zips Car Wash, gift cards, and wash books. They're perfect stocking stuffers. Check them out for yourself at zipscarwash.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got to talk some Landers locks. Brad Bellamy from Landers Ford joins us now. Usually joins us on Fridays to give us his locks, but this week joining us a little earlier on Thursday. Brad, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to get to those locks here in a few minutes, but before we do that, I hear we're going to have a lot of fun on Saturday. Jalen Wells going to be in the building at Landers Ford in Collierville. Tell us a little bit about that, how people can come and see Jalen Wells on Saturday at the dealership.
Good afternoon, guys. Man, great to be on with you guys on this rainy and cold, wet Thursday afternoon. But it will be all sunshine on Saturday, guys. So from 4 to 6 o'clock, NBA Grizzlies superstar, rising star, all NBA first-team rookie year last year, playing pretty well lately, and probably one of the most down-to-earth and humble NBA players of all time. Jalen Wells is going to be in the building, signing autographs, taking photos. He'll be here from 4 to 6 o'clock on Saturday at Landers Ford at Houston, Levy, and Poplar. Guys, we've had the pleasure to get to know Jalen over the last few months, and just an unbelievable story, unbelievable young man. His backstory: didn't have a full ride scholarship coming out of high school, went to Sonoma State, and then got, basically he grew a foot between high school and, when he started high school and got to college, and ended up going to Washington State, and then obviously drafted by the Grizzlies and just been an absolute star for us. And unbelievable young man. We're really, really excited that he's coming out here to do that with us on Saturday. So, there's a lot going on. we'll have the SEC championship game on in the background, but we're really excited about Jalen being here. And in between, sandwiched in between two home games. They got a home game Friday night, home game on Sunday. So he's in town and able to come out and spend a little bit of time with us. And one other thing I'll just plug for Jalen while I'm on with you guys. Sleep Nation is his nonprofit, all about trying to get kids that are kind of under the radar, not really being recognized, and working with them through their high school programs and trying to get them elevated to get known, to get recognized, and to not be a sleeper anymore. So Sleep Nation is a nonprofit. Check it out. And not only do we have that going on Saturday, but, man, we finished really strong in November. December is always one of the best car sales months. And, man, we got 0 for 60 plus deferred payments for 90 days on F-150, Explorer, Transit, Escape, 0 for 72 on Mach-E and Lightning. And, man, we've had a lot of momentum. Bronco Sport lease deals are phenomenal. I've done 2 of those today. So a lot working right now, a lot of inventory here to sell, and a lot of customers ready to take care of. But super excited about Saturday and having our first meet and greet opportunity with Jalen here from 4 to 6 o'clock at Landers Ford.
Brad, we know every month as you get closer to the end of the month, the deals are always good at Landers Ford, but you get a little bit of a better deal at the end of the month. Is it triple witching time of year at the end of the month and at the end of the year?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and the other big thing is you got a lot of business people that are coming into the market trying to, take care of tax savings end of the year. Their accountants are like, hey, we got to get one more car before the year's up. So go buy a car. And so, man, it's always a big month. A lot of businesses trying to close out their years, and then business owners trying to take the same advantage. So great time to buy. And we got big plans to try and get us to 1,000 units for the year, and we're on track. So yeah, man, a lot going on, and really excited about it. And appreciate the opportunity to be on with you guys and talk about championship weekend.
That's right.
We got it coming up on Saturday. The place to be at Landers Ford. Jalen Wells, SEC game on, Tiger basketball game on at the same time.
Yeah, big game against Baylor this weekend. We need a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's get started with those locks. Let's start with championship weekend.
All right, I'm going to start with the Big Ten guys. Indiana, Ohio State. Man, talk about a game we're all excited to see and ready to see. They've kind of been on different sides of the Big Ten all season, and Mendoza going for the Heisman. Indiana's +4. I think it's going to be a close game. I like Indiana in the game, but Ohio State's the granddaddy of them all right now. But I'm going to take Indiana +4 to take down the national champions from last year. It's an interesting game though, because I think both of them are going to get a first round bye. I don't see the loser getting knocked all the way down to 5th. Especially if Alabama beats Georgia. I don't see that happening. So, and seeding could make it to where it might not be as advantageous to be won as opposed. I mean, that's the weird thing about the way the college football playoff is now with all the rankings and how they're set up. A little bit better than it was last year with the 3 and the 4 getting to those conference champions. But so I'm going to go Indiana +4. I would love to go total chaos and give hope to James Madison that they can make the playoff, but I'm going to go ahead and take Virginia -4. So I'm going to take them to go ahead and do what they need to do to get the ACC in the playoff. So give me Virginia -4, and then I'm also going to go ahead and stay away from the SEC championship game. You guys know I have a heart for Alabama, and I've learned this year that if I just stay away from doing one way or another, it's probably the smart decision.
Absolutely.
But Texas Tech guys, they've been on a roll. Hard to beat a team by double digits twice in one season. Doesn't get the opportunity to do that very often. I made a huge mistake last week thinking that West Virginia could actually be on the same football field as Texas Tech. So I'm gonna go back and go back with the Red Raiders and go Texas Tech minus 12.5.
Great pick. I think Texas Tech wants to pound them.
And they want to show that all that investment, everything they got going is that they're a legit team. And so I like them this weekend. And then I'll go in the American Conference. I'm going to go over 66.5 points in that game. So those two teams, they can put up some points in a hurry. I think it's going to be a shootout. So I'm going to go over 66.5 points, North Texas and Tulane, to close out my Landers lock in college this week.
And Brad, you mentioned the Texas Tech and their NIL campaign they're on at Ole Miss, at all these places. You want to keep the money rolling in, win and win big.
That's right. That's right. And man, how are your emotions with everything going on Ole Miss, Brett? How you doing today?
I'm good. I've been lied to before and I've been dumped before, so I've got experience at it, Brad.
Well, man, it's going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out for them in the playoffs. So
it is any NFL player props.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm going to go third line down this week. Ty Johnson has been getting some opportunities this year as the secondary running back. Had a couple of times where he's broke out and had some big touchdowns. He keeps being a huge payout play, plus 600.
Wow.
So we're going deep down, but I think they're going to have some points scored in that Cincinnati Buffalo game. I'm sure the weather's going to suck, but Ty Johnson's been a really good, option for some pretty high odds. So
great example right here, Brad. I mean, if it's a loss, okay, we call it a loss. But if this is a win, this should not count as one win. You're going plus 600. I'm not going to let it affect your winning percentage like this. If this is a win, I'm calling it 3 W's.
I like it.
Well, I had one last week that I was really bummed out.
Did.
I had on Thanksgiving Day I had Oshavas and I had Tesla from Detroit, and I had Ferguson with Dallas, and them calling back that touchdown was very painful because you can only imagine Tesla was plus 600 and Oshavas was about 4. So that callback on that touchdown and them saying I still think he was a touchdown, but that was painful for my long shot of the week that did not happen last Thursday. But anyway,
if Sam Pittman wonders why he's fired, last year at Arkansas, maybe the 2 previous years, he had Tesla and Satania, and we see what Satania's done all year at OU.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm going to go Jets. Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie both. John Mechie both have been pretty good targets in the last couple of weeks. Tyrod Taylor's throwing the ball. Mitchell's getting almost 30% of his targets. Plus 245. I'm going to go Mitchell, and I'm going to say same game. My boy came back last week. He had 2 catches, no touchdown. Didn't call him. But earlier in the year, before he got hurt, Darren Waller was my man. So I'm going to go same game parlay, Darren Waller and Adonai Mitchell, both get the touchdown, both plus 200 or higher. So those are my 3 Landers locks in the week for games. Well, the Buffalo game people don't care about. The Miami-New York Jets game, probably 7 people are watching. That's because they got money on it. So those are going to be my locks of the week, guys.
I love those plays. And in college, I agree on every one. I thought you were going to have Bama, Georgia under. I think we got an old-fashioned defensive stalemate in the SEC game.
Yeah, and like perfect scenario when they played earlier this year, a lot of points in the first half, and then defense
figured each other out.
Exactly, and then last year when they played each other, Alabama put all their points up in the first half. Georgia did everything in the second half. I do like a play in this game, probably first half, Alabama. They've played very, very well against Georgia since DeBoer's come on board in the first half. I mean, they've got out and they've got out well. And so I would probably say that would be a good play this week to look at.
I like it. Well, Brad, before we let you go, tell us one more time about what y'all have got over at Landers Ford and talk about Jalen Wells being at the dealership again Saturday.
Absolutely, yeah. Most exciting thing we got going this weekend, guys. Jalen Wells coming out 4 to 6 on Saturday. Great young man. He'll give the kids the time, and he's tall. He's really tall. You don't realize how tall he is when you're watching the game on TV, but in person, you know, his hair's hit the top of the door. So so excited to have him out. And then obviously, guys, 0 for 60 throughout our lineup with no payments for 90 days. So you ain't got to worry about pulling money out before Christmas. You can wait a couple months, pay off some of those Christmas bills, and then that car payment happens. So come out and see us. We're here all weekend. We're ready to take care of you guys. And, guys, it's so great to be on the show with y'all today.
Yeah, well, we love having you. And if it doesn't say Landers,
you paid too much.
That's right,
You
Brad.
got it, Brad.
Thanks so much for
Happy
joining
holidays.
us. Happy holidays. We're going to talk to you again in 2 weeks once we really got bowl season, playoff time right around the corner.
All right, sounds great. Good to be on with you guys. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
Brad Bellamy joining us from Landers Ford. They've got a ton of great deals over there. And Jalen Wells going to be in the building.
How fun.
On Saturday.
What a Saturday.
Going to be a lot of fun. Like you said, I mean, they got the TVs in there. He always tells us about how they've got the TVs working.
Save
on
money,
the
get a new
weekends.
car.
Oh, man. And
Have that fun.
And Brett, what a great thing to have because, look, I have been a kid. I was once a kid. I was once a kid when my parents were buying cars, and it is miserable going to the dealership and sitting around while they try to purchase a car. So when you got the TVs with the games on, when you got Jalen Wells there, I mean, it's a perfect thing to take the kids out there, let them get autographs while you're getting that
and his
car.
story, and
Oh,
his
it's
story,
really
and
good.
his foundation. I'm scared to compare him to this guy because I'm not saying Hall of Fame at the end of it for Jalen Wells. But doesn't this sound a lot like Big Scottie Pippen's story?
Yeah, no, that's a really good one. And you look at both those guys from Washington State that the Grizzlies have, both Cedric Coward and Jalen Wells, both guys that had to start out at smaller colleges, at lower levels once they got to college basketball and worked their way up. And so I mean, some really good stories. And Jalen Wells definitely one of the better stories in the NBA of how they got to the league. But let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Listen up, Rebel fans. Your next winning drive starts at Landers Ford in Collierville. Their game plan is simple. Find you the most savings possible. Make a trade, lower your payments, or let them buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from them. That's how you keep moving the chains. Just like the Grove on game day. Fans all across the Mid-South keep coming back to the #1 Ford dealership in Greater Memphis. See them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. When you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot, so you're never left watching from the sidelines. To finish the drive, the iconic Landers Easy Pass always brings more for your trade and the biggest discounts to put you in victory formation. And now, straight from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that took down #1 ranked Notre Dame, the final snap of the day from Landers Ford President Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market.
To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One. Coming up on Thursday Night Football, a battle of two NFC playoff bubble teams. When the 7-5 Lions host the 6-5-1 Cowboys. Dak Prescott and Dallas are on a 3-game win streak, while Jared Goff and Detroit are trending the wrong way, having dropped 3 of their last 5. Kevin Kugler and Ross Tucker have the call on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
O'Reilly. check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to fit in.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy? I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett. Well, my big number today comes from college basketball, and it comes from last night in the SEC ACC Challenge. Last night we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. My big number is 6. That's because the SEC won 6 of those 7 games.
Had to rally
last night. They absolutely rallied. The only game the SEC lost last night, Texas lost at home against Virginia.
Got blasted.
Sure did. Really impressive performance by UVA. They get the big win there, but really everywhere else, it was all SEC, and it was in pretty dominant fashion. All of those wins by the SEC by 6 or more points, most of them by 9 or more points, so a really good night in the SEC.
So we knew 14-2 wasn't real last year.
No.
Wasn't real for either party. The ACC, a lot more proud, a lot better than that.
No, definitely.
And last year, it was just it was so many things, non-conference. After they got into conference, the lesser team that would win, everything conspired perfectly last year for the SEC, including that challenge. That's never going to happen again, either way, either side.
No, definitely not. Last year was just...
It's a 9-7, 8-8.
Yeah, exactly. Deal. I mean, last year was just that magical year for the SEC, and you're right. I mean, you look at what was really, a really bad ACC last season. They are a much better conference and have a lot of really good teams in there this year. So they'll certainly be a more competitive conference.
What a sports year at Vandy.
Oh, man, it really is.
What a last couple of years for Vandy.
No, it's been really good, and they looked really, really good last night. A big win, 88-69 over an SMU team. That was SMU's first loss. That was a battle of undefeated teams
with
last
night. City's coach.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, he kind of set it off. He set off all the dominoes.
He
when
was
Andy
the Lane
Enfield,
Kiffin a few years ago.
when he left from USC to SMU, that really kind of set everything off.
It got
with all the
Calipari
coaching
to
changes.
Fayetteville.
Sure did. Yeah, that was a wild year in terms of coaching.
Arkansas
changes.
looked good last night.
They did. They looked really good, and it was a good environment.
The arena looked great.
It did, and
it was alive.
You know what? All the good last night. You know what didn't look good last night in Fayetteville with the Arkansas game? Ryan Silverfield calling the Hogs. I finally got to see Ryan Silverfield call the Hogs. He started up here. No. You got to get to that point. You don't start up top. You got to raise to the top. He's starting up top. He doesn't really know what to do with his hands. We got to get some practice with Silverfield calling the Hogs.
It's really going to crush you when you see him calling the Hogs at Maxine's Tap Room.
Well, yeah.
But he's sure to do it. Good scene last night in Fayetteville. Couple numbers here. 33 is my big number. It's the 34th SEC championship game, but 33 is the lowest point total in all the SEC championship games played to date. That was a Georgia win 30-3 over Arkansas. Mark Richt defeating Houston Nutt. I think Saturday goes under 33.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I liked what you were saying with Brett.
16-13, 17-14.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's going to be one of those low-scoring defensive battles, and I'd be completely fine with that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Unless, a turnover fest, and that's always it's impossible to figure. You don't know when those are going to break out. These teams have big, thick New York City phone books on each other.
Oh, yeah, no, they know everything about each other.
Now, you do remember what a phone book was?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Bro, come on. Don't do that to me. I'm not that young. I mean, geez, I know what a phone book is. Good Lord. But, yeah, no, they have the tape, and I'm excited. It should be a really, really fun SEC championship game, and kind of, man,
they've got the book, they got the tape, and they've got the personnel to stop each side's best asset.
That's right. So it should be a lot of fun.
As I said to Pat Smith, it would drive me crazy to open up Twitter and see people go, who wants these boring teams?
Yeah. But, hey, if it is a defensive battle, it's probably what you're going to get on social media.
And defensive battle now, never mind 17-14. Defensive battle is what they had in September. 24-21.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, I mean, if it's a low scoring game, I'm sure you'll hear all about it on social media.
Meanwhile, Texas Tech and BYU might be 45-38.
Be 1,000,000-1,000,001.
But it's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Points. That's what everybody wants to see. Well, we need to get to a break, but before we do that, let me remind you, it's perfect time. Head out to Frontier Western Store. Family owned and operated since 1967. Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for all the biggest brands in Western wear. So it's perfect time to head out there and start that Christmas shopping. They're the one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, but they've also got you covered with plenty of other brands when it comes to shirts, shorts, jeans, outerwear. Whatever you're looking for, they've got it in stock. But Frontier Western also has you covered with brands like Ariat, all the way down to Wrangler when it comes to jeans. You'll love how easy it is to find the perfect size and style for you. While you're out there, check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, and Durango. And that's just to name a few of the many different brands they have when it comes to boots. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Check out the entire selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Frontier Western Store. Well, let's wrap up this second hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're talking Tigers. Greg Gaston, he joins us next.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Memphis Tigers basketball is heating up, and now it's your chance to lock in on all the action at FedEx Forum. Choose from 2 exciting 3-game mini plans. Go with a 3-point play pack featuring tickets to Baylor, North Texas, and Charlotte, or build your own with a 3-game pick'em plan where you select any 3 home games excluding Baylor. Don't miss out. Visit GoTigersGo.com/tickets today and secure your seats. Go Tigers Go!
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They're working with a wreck over here in the rain on 240 westbound, just past Sam Cooper. I mean, it is clogged up pretty good over here right now with this accident on 240 westbound, just past Sam Cooper, like you're headed towards Walnut Grove. It's heavy now, but moving 240 getting on to 385 Billmore. Parkway going outbound. You're going to have to give yourself a little bit of extra time out here with this weather. Hey, get the gift of clean this holiday season. Save 40% off Zips Car Wash, gift cards, and wash books. Check them out right now online at zipscarwash.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Thursday afternoon. Got to talk some Tigers, and we do it at this time every single Thursday afternoon with Greg Gaston.
From the Tigers sideline, it's Tigers Talk with Memphis broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings, along with Eli Savoy from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Greg Gaston joins us now to talk Tigers. Make sure you listen to him every weekday morning from 7 to 10 with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. All right, Greg, a lot to talk about, a lot that has happened over the last week. It really has been.
Greg, you were getting ready for the Navy game a week ago, right now.
That's right, yeah.
I was.
That feels like 3
now.
years ago.
Yes, I'm mentally exhausted. Last week, sitting out in the cold doing my sidelines work, I'm less, I'm less tired from doing that work than I am just the mental stress of everything that's been going on.
It has been that kind of week, as you can tell. I left my voice in Starkville.
It's somewhere. I don't know if it's in Starkville or where it is, but you need to.
It might be on Highway 78, slowly approaching Memphis.
Maybe. Well. All right, well, let's get into it. Sunday morning, the news comes out that Ryan Silverfield is going to be the next head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. He had his introductory press conference finally this afternoon over in Fayetteville. What did you make of that news? It felt like at one time he was a name that was getting some attention at Arkansas, but it felt like they were going to move in a different direction from Ryan Silverfield, and it kind of felt like a surprise when it did become official that he was going to be the next head coach at Arkansas.
Yeah, I think it was a surprise because all the Alex Golish news, but certainly the things fell in place for Ryan Silverfield when Golish took the Auburn job, and there were only a couple of names that were out there for Arkansas, and one being Ryan Silverfield. So, yes, the initial shock of, wow, he's the head coach of the Razorbacks, but when you think about it, just the dominoes fell the right way for Ryan, and then you heard Hunter Yurachek say what he said, that he was the first one he talked to in October, and he was the last one he talked to in November, and that says an awful lot of what Hunter Yurachek thinks of Ryan Silverfield. Of course, Memphis having beaten Arkansas and Hunter seeing that firsthand, that didn't hurt by no stretch of the imagination. And then I saw last night the whole deal with the basketball game and Ryan being more rah-rah than I ever remember him being here in Memphis. And then, of course, all the coaches win the press conference, so he's there with Katie and the twins. Look, I feel really good for him. I'm very close to Ryan. I'm very, very happy for him. And it just seems like it's the right thing for Memphis because there's so many fans out there that either didn't appreciate what he did or thought that it should have been more, and there are many that are under, and they're right. It probably should have been more, at least a conference championship or two appearance. And so it wasn't going to be a firing. I mean, Dr. Ed Scott's not stupid. You're not firing a guy, even though they went down to 8 wins. It's still successful, and he's had this great run. So it kind of worked out where Memphis has gotten their wish. A lot of the fan base have, and the other part of the fan base that were backing Ryan Silverfield got to be incredibly happy for the man as he's going to, as he has signed a deal that's going to be worth in excess of $33 million. You talk about life-changing, life-altering money, that certainly is it. So, again, I'm really happy for him. But to answer your original question, yes, I was certainly surprised on Sunday when I was woken up with a phone call with that news about Ryan Silverfield.
Yeah, so that's how you got the news. A week ago right now, when you're at the stadium, could you have ever forecasted all of this happening? Did you think he was out?
No, there's no way I could have forecasted it, but I can tell you, and I don't know, now it's hindsight, and I just think about our coaches' meetings, and I think about Ryan at halftime when I interview him, who, you could be leading 100-0 at halftime, and he's going to find something that the team did wrong. I remember when we only gained 4 yards on that one run. I mean, he always comes up with that. He seemed docile. He seemed a little bit different. His demeanor was a little bit different. He was calmer, cooler, and collected. Again, I don't think he knew he got the job till probably Saturday because of that whole Golish thing. So anybody who thinks he knew for a few weeks and that's why the team performed the way they did, I think that's off base. But I think he felt like he's got a chance. And that wasn't the only place he interviewed. I'm not sure which other school interviewed him. It may have been Oklahoma State, who ended up going with Eric Morris, but there were a couple of interviews that he was involved in. So, yeah, he just seemed a little bit different, a little bit more, like I said, docile.
And his agent, the best in the business, had it all lined up and ready to go when the dominoes fell. I just wonder, Greg, and it'll be speculation, I know, but if Lane had stayed, would that have been Summerall to LSU, Golish to Florida, Ryan to Auburn, and who for the Razorbacks then?
It could have easily been. Now, I hadn't heard. Maybe you know something about Auburn with Ryan, but I hadn't heard. Maybe that was the team that looked at him or interviewed him. But, yeah, sure, the dominoes would have fell a different way. No question about it. I mean, things have to happen. This is in life, too. You know, it's a series of events that lead to certain conclusions. For example, think about this. If Arrington Maiden, who comes into the game against Arkansas when Lewis goes down with an injury for basically one play and makes that run to secure the first down and Memphis goes on to win, if Memphis doesn't beat Arkansas, are we talking about Ryan Silverfield being the head coach? I'm not saying that one game did it, but that one game certainly didn't hurt. So you think about the series of events that led to that dub, which eventually helped lead him to this job in Arkansas.
And Greg, just think of every year, Thanksgiving weekend, carousel season, Jimmy Sexton season, what Jimmy does every year, and it's always been based out of Memphis, his beloved hometown. I don't think he's appreciated enough. I don't think he's honored enough. All these tributes and awards that we have, whatever it is, whether it's the Halls of Fame or Distinguished Citizen Award, how is he not in the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame and Jerry Lawler and Sputnik Monroe are?
Well, you know how they love wrestling, but yeah,
Jeez.
Jimmy is, look, among the peers, among people in college football, and really even now outside of college football, any sports in general, they know who Jimmy Sexton is.
And would
they know
do
what
anything for anybody. I wish I had $1 for every ticket he's gotten for somebody.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, Jimmy is a very important Memphian. No question about it. What he has done, he has really changed everything for college coaches and the money that they now make, which is astronomical, and some people think it's way out of hand. But you know, Jimmy had his hand in doing that. And look, let me give a shout out to Clint Dowdle, who actually worked for Jimmy for a time. Now is an agent out of Nashville. He's also a Memphian who represents guys like Alex Golish, got him a job. John Sumrall got him that job or helped get him the job. And he's the agent for a number of others, including Jerry Mack, who's in the Memphis mix. So it is incredible that you have, of course, the king in Jimmy Sexton, and then somebody like Clint, both out of Memphis.
Yeah, and how they impact the sport. Do you think the Tigers have identified the next football coach?
Look, it's one of two guys. I know there's a lot of other names that have popped up. Not a lot of others, but some have popped up legitimates. Others have come up because of people's wish list. But look, I have said all along that it's going to be Jerry Mack or Charles Huff. But I really thought Jerry Mack had the lead. I don't know right now. I know with Jerry Mack, he is concentrating on the conference championship game tomorrow. So I know that is first and foremost right now in his mind. But you're going to have things moving real quick after that game is over. I think they are very similar coaches. Of course, Jerry Mack has the background of having coached in Memphis under Larry Porter, and that regime did not do well, as everybody knows. Of course, Whitehaven High School, he's a Memphian. Charles Huff has ties to Tennessee State, where he's been, and others in the region. But they're very similar in the sense that they haven't been head coaches for a real long time. They've had success at multiple places, and they're both African-American head coaches. And that's not to be forgotten here, because I think for Memphis, I'm not sure that that's a prerequisite, but there are not a lot of schools who have had coaches leave that have had openings that have entertained the possibility of an African-American or minority head coach. If you think about it, Oregon State hired an African-American. I don't think anybody else has even been interviewed or in the mix, at least that I know of. So Memphis looks like they're going down that road. I think, though, these are two very capable and very understandable if that's the direction they go. And I'll tell you why. Not because of that, because, like I said, they've both been head coaches. And I think it was very important for Dr. Ed Scott to look at a guy who is not going to have to walk into a situation and learn how to be a CEO. They already have learned how to be a CEO. Now, granted, Kennesaw State, Southern Miss, Memphis should be, or at least one of the best of the group of five. I understand that. But if you go out there and it's always a gamble. You guys know it's always a gamble. You're always taking a shot, no matter who the coach is. Even if it's a coach who's established, like a Hugh Freeze, or if you were able to get Dan Mullen, it's always a gamble. But it's a bigger gamble when you're going position coach who hasn't had that experience, or even coordinator. And they've had success, obviously, with Fuente, and then more success with Norvell, and even Ryan to a certain extent. But I think getting an established coach who knows how to run a program is extremely important. So that's where I think they're going. We just heard a little bit earlier today from Pete Thamel that Buster Faulkner, who had been in the mix, it looks like he's going to Florida as the offensive coordinator for John Sumrall. We've had other names like Tyson Helton, who's the Western Kentucky coach, who's done a really nice job. But that was, I think Jonah Dillon was first to report today that he's no longer in that mix. Blake Baker has reportedly been interviewed. He's the LSU DC, who I think will either be with Lane or he'll land one of these head coaching gigs, but I don't see it being Memphis. I really think it's a two-horse race.
Oh, and I want a head coach. I don't want a coordinator, Greg.
Exactly. Brett, I'm with you 100%. They have no time to mess around. Right. Now, again, there's no guarantees that either one of these
I understood
coaches
it last time. I understood it with Mike Norvell. I understood it with Justin Fuente. I didn't understand it with Larry Porter. But let me be honest about that. At that time, Greg, I was for Larry Porter. I'm one of the few people in town that say I was for Hashim and for Larry Porter.
Well, listen, I was for Hashim as well.
But I wasn't alone, and nor were you.
We were not alone, and sometimes
we'll just admit it.
Miss. Mm-hmm. And you can understand where they were at that point. They go, hey, Larry Porter, native son, the best recruiter in the country. Let's bring him in. He's going to get those guys. Well, he wasn't able to get those guys to come to.
I'm still stunned by the job he did.
Yeah, it was not a revolution, was it?
But I want to. I see what you did there. I want a head coach this time.
I want a head coach as well and look, here's the thing too. Now with the transfer portal, coaches can bring players, and I'm not saying there's 20 players at Kennesaw or at Southern Miss that are good enough to play at Memphis. Maybe there are. I don't know. I know they have a quarterback at Kennesaw State, but the point is, again, they know how to run a program. Get the right guys around them to divvy up the responsibilities. You're going to have some of the best NIL money around in the group of five. Look, were either one of these guys my first choice? No, I wanted, quite frankly, Billy Napier. Billy Napier has been hired by James Madison, and I think he's going to crush it. I know he didn't crush it in Florida, and it's hard for some ADs to turn around and go, look, the guy just failed. Why am I going to hire him? Well, he's also had success, too. In the case of Hugh Freeze, in the case of established coaches. Is it a big name, either one of these guys, Mack or Huff? Are they big splashes? No, they're not. But what is going to bring people out is going to be winning and winning big. Can he continue and now exceed what Ryan Silverfield did, which basically has kept it status quo? Some would say even maybe dropped it a bit. They never got to the promised land of being in the championship game. What is going to be imperative for these guys, or this guy, whoever comes in, is going to be to get into the championship game. Yeah. And so now it's all on Ed Scott for the hire, and it's all on this coach to establish that winning tradition at the highest level in the American Conference.
Greg, kind of final, I don't know what to call it, final description, final verdict on the Ryan Silverfield years. Or is it to be decided? I think his successor will go a long way to maybe defining Ryan's years. If the successor comes in here, crushes it, first year or two, goes to American championship game, then the verdict will be less flattering on Ryan. If the successor comes and scuffles, record goes the wrong way, then Ryan looks real good.
I agree completely with that. Now, people have already made judgments, but your judgment can change. So I think what you're saying is accurate.
Yeah, I always reserve the right to change my mind when the facts change.
Absolutely. No question about it. Now, how do I feel? Obviously, I got a close-knit relationship with him. Sure. I think he did a really good job. but he didn't do the ultimate job. And he knows, I mean, you don't have to tell him. He knows that they never reached their ultimate goal. They won big games in bowls, beating Power 5 schools, and people will kind of poo-poo bowl games. Okay, but the fact of the matter is he did that. And the wins that he compiled, like 2 wins for every 1 loss, so he did that. And again, people will say, well, he beat up on a bunch of bad teams. I mean, there's a lot of arguments and counter-arguments, right? But I think he did a very solid job. But he didn't elevate them to where they needed to go, where Norvell was taking them after going to the Cotton Bowl, which, of course, ironically, Ryan Silverfield coached in after Mike got the job at Florida State. But I think you're absolutely right, Brett. You can either judge now and then change, or reserve judgment until you see what happens over the next couple of years. But I do caution people who wanted him out, and that's your prerogative. That's your prerogative. I got no problems with whatever you feel you wanted, a return of Ryan or not. But you got your wish. The grass may not always be greener on the other side. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Cautionary tale, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And people, I know people are outraged about Lane and stuff, but 50 wins the last 5 years.
Yeah, pretty good.
He made something really hard look easy.
Yeah.
Hey, look, John Calipari, revered by many.
Exactly.
Some people are still, oh man, he left us. Hey, those were great years. Mm-hmm. This has been a great run for Lane. I hate the way it happened, and I don't have to tell you. You're right in the middle. And by the way, I thought, just for the folks out there, if you ever listened to the Rebels broadcasts on our station, Brett had a great relationship with Lane Kiffin. He did a great job with those interviews. I'm telling you, better than anybody I've heard ever, and that includes Marty Smith. The way he appreciated you, Brett, I thought was tremendous.
We got along. We did. Yes. We got along fabulously, and I'm gonna make a promise here to Ole Miss fans. I'll get along with Pete Golding too.
Right. I'm sure you will. But again, it was a soap opera. It became a soap opera, and hopefully the Rebs will be able to put that in the rearview mirror.
The ride got wild, but it was fun.
Yeah. It was a Dukes and Hazard, Dukes of Hazard ride. They're jumping things and going through things and all that. But I think to your point, the next couple of years with this coach coming in, if it's 2-3 years of greatness, they're going to a couple of championship games. Yeah, that'll hurt Ryan's legacy if they flounder. And then the appreciation for Ryan will be there.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely will. We're talking to Greg Gaston. He joins us every single Thursday to talk Tigers. He's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis. They have serious vans for serious work at 4430 American Way. They're the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet, new or used? Well, they've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter van headquarters. Give them a call, 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road. Well, Greg, you were on the call last night on ESPN Plus, Memphis and New Orleans. The Tigers came out hot. They were knocking down shots. Julius Thedford, I believe the first 8 points of the game for the Tigers, a 5-0 run to start for him and for the Tigers. Shots were falling, 6 guys in double figures. What did you make of what you saw in that win last night for the Tigers?
Well, let me also say, let's hope that knee is okay for Thedford, because he was huge last night. And you're right, Brian. They came out smoking. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a hyperextension, and we'll find out Saturday. They'll need him against Baylor. But I thought they played very well last night. I thought in the second half they got a little bored, I think, as they were in control of that game.
Easy to do.
Exactly, and he was throwing in different lineups and mixing and matching guys, and guys that don't usually get the PT got the PT. Very interesting night, though. It started with another starting lineup change once again for Penny. He's done it in most games. Mm-hmm. Ashton, of course, his son, who has been starting, he was out with an injury, so you knew there was going to be at least one change. And then we found out about the situation with Bradshaw, and it looks like it was a disciplinary reason why he didn't play. Silla only got 2 minutes, so I'm thinking maybe something with that as well.
I don't mind either message sent. I don't mind it. I'm going to support the coach every time in this.
I love the message being sent by any coach at any level. I don't care if you're a pro. Send a message. But we're also seeing the emergence of Majok as probably the best big that they have. It's more of a smaller team, guard-oriented, but I think Majok has shown a lot of promise. We saw Sincere Parker coming off the bench, score the ball. Barry off the bench, score the ball. Doug McDaniel with a double-double. He was terrific in facilitating. Once again, you had Gibbons out with his injury, deep thigh bruise. So it's a deep team. It's still a little confusing on really who's the best five, what's the best rotation. But they're going to have to figure it out because they're going to have to play extremely well over the course of the next 4 games. It feels like it's their season in a nutshell, the next 4 games. Now, don't get me wrong. They should. There's no guarantees this year, though, with this team. But they should take care of business in the conference, win the conference tournament title, and be in the NCAA tournament no matter what. But you feel like, well, if they don't do anything over the next 4 games and do any damage, then you're like, oh, man, what are the hopes for doing anything even if they make the NCAA tournament? We've seen them go toe-to-toe with Purdue. We've seen them battle Ole Miss at the Pavilion. We've seen them also throw a clunker up against UNLV. But I think for the most part, they can be very competitive. But it is absolutely going to be a challenge against Scott Drew's team. Then you go to Louisville. We know what Louisville's capable of doing. You got Vandy, who's been one of the big, pleasant surprises in the nation, let alone the SEC. And then Mississippi State, which is a game on the road. If you had Mississippi State at home, I'd feel really good about it done. Mississippi State's struggling, but it is down at the hump. So these games right now, to me, like I said, season in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And I think you've been impressed with what you've seen the last 2 games, but you're right. I mean, that level of competition takes a massive jump with these next 4 games. If you had to predict this 4-game stretch, I know we'll talk with you in between these games, but if you had to put a prediction on these next 4 non-conference games, what would it be?
I'm going to predict 2-2. Okay. I think they're going to find a way to win. Yeah, I think they're going to find a way to win 2 games.
Definitely.
I'll take that.
I think you're definitely happy with
and keep that arc of improvement going up. The Tigers got better in the Bahamas grade.
They did, and again, it was disappointing the way that Wake Forest, and we talked about that, but or did we? We were off last week, but the Wake Forest ending was just completely implosion. That should have been a dub. They should have won that game. Purdue, hey, if they made shots down the stretch, they had a chance, and then Purdue turns around next day, right? They wipe out Texas Tech by 30. So, yes, I think Memphis is getting incrementally better. It's tough to gauge against Southern Illinois and against New Orleans, but we will find out on Saturday. Look, it's a home game. Baylor's good. Yep. Baylor's not even ranked, but they're good. They got a couple of guys who could really score the ball. Let's see that Memphis defense that we saw last night. I thought was really, really good until that lull in the second half. Hopefully we can get a decent crowd. Look, the crowd was horrible last night. Let's be honest. Don't mince words here. It was horrible. Saturday, you're dealing with the marathon. Hopefully, there's going to be runners. Heck, if I was running, I'd be running until the following Saturday. So I don't make sure the route you take are clear of the runners to get over to FedEx Forum. But hopefully, it's a really nice crowd. They really, really need the support of the Tiger fans for this battle against Baylor.
Yep, should be a lot of fun. You're right with that defense. I mean, you hold New Orleans to 28 points in the first half. You can do anything close to that against Baylor. You're in for a pretty good game and probably a Memphis win, but we'll see, and hopefully it is a better crowd for that big one. Greg, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next Thursday.
All right, guys. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Greg Gaston joining us every single Thursday.
That's right, St. Jude run Saturday.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So it's going to be very, very busy downtown. A lot going on.
It will be.
So, yeah, I guess plan ahead and get there early. And so in case you do run into any traffic or anything like that, I don't know what time it starts. I'm sure it starts in the morning, so I'm sure.
I would be Forrest Gump. I'd still be running if I was trying to run a marathon.
Yeah, I
could never complete one.
No, I've been asked in the past about running marathons, and I would never be able to even attempt running a marathon. But hey, people who do it, I mean, I'm jealous that you're able to do it.
Serious question. Do you have to run, or can you walk?
No, I think you can walk it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's a way to walk it, or I shouldn't say a way, but I'm pretty sure you can walk it. And yeah, I know a lot of people have gone out and I'm pretty sure have walked the marathon. So yeah, should be a lot of fun on Saturday, kind of all day downtown. Very, very busy. Well, before we get to a break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsors, Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online, jaguarbluffcity.com. Head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheelco, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the Brr months, and that means even more savings at Family Leisure. Why is this time of the year the best time of the year to shop at Family Leisure? Because Family Leisure has new stuff coming, so they need to make room. Need a cover for your hot tub? How convenient. Family Leisure has them starting at just $249. Need new spa steps or a cover lift? Family Leisure has those as well, starting at just $99. Let's say you don't have a hot tub or you want a new one. Pick yours right now, starting at $24.99. Get your laps in with a swim spa, and prices start at under $15,000. In-stock patio furniture, that's up to 50% off. Plus, if you need special financing, Family Leisure's got you covered. One final thing. Tell the folks at Family Leisure you heard this radio commercial. You get a free gift with a hot tub purchase. Family Leisure, Witten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Question, can a security system stop a break-in before it starts? Traditional systems only take action after somebody is already inside. That's too late. Simply Safe is designed to be proactive, stopping crime before it starts. When something looks off, live agents step in, acting early, not after, while you're asleep or in a meeting or anywhere else. Take 50% off any new system at simplysafecolin.com. Again, that's simplysafecolin.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames. Because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster. Which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Ready to shine, Memphis? Save big on Club Car Wash's Best Wash this Tuesday for just $12. Stop by any 4 club locations in Greater Memphis or visit clubcarwash.com to learn more.
Car Wash, join the club.
Sports 56 traffic.
Wrapping up this wreck that caused a mess over here a few minutes ago on 240 westbound. Right near Sam Cooper. It's heavy over in the eastbound lanes as well. And that area between Walnut Grove and Sam Cooper, actually now in both directions, it's clogged up. Heavy traffic flow trying to get out into Fayette County as we checking out live here on 40 East passing Germantown Parkway. Hey, give the gift of clean this holiday season. Save 40% off Zips Car Wash. Gift cards and wash books. Perfect stocking stuffers. Check them out right now at zipscarwash.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time draft pick.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Here comes the hero man, says he's a people man. Here comes the hero man.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we've got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. A lot of football to talk about.
Our Cowboys.
That's
This
right.
is our Cowboy segment.
Yeah, well, I was going to get to the Cowboys.
Come on, Landon.
In a minute. I wanted to kind of put a wrap on college football before we got to the Cowboys. No,
I got
okay.
overly
Hey,
enthusiastic
it's
about
all
our
right. Look,
Cowboys.
it's a big night. I'm just as excited, if not more excited. Which I don't know if
And
I can
I'll be listening
more
right
excited.
here
That you will
over
be
these
listening.
airwaves.
That's right. You will be listening.
Not all that
right
fancy TV y'all have.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's right. You will be listening right here.
That TV, all that fancy TV y'all have is going to pollute your minds.
Yeah, it's something like that. That's what I've been told. No, yeah, it's gonna if you don't have Prime or if you're driving around, you can listen to it right here on Sports 56. We'll have the pregame show and the entire game starting at 6:30. So you'll be able to listen to it right here. But we talked about it earlier. We made mention of it. The only openings now in the American: Tulane and Memphis, South Florida, North Texas, UAB, all filling those positions. So it's getting close. And then you see some of those other moves, some other announcements, coaching-wise. It feels like we're getting really down to the last kind of two or three candidates, and a decision coming very, very soon.
Let's play a little ball tomorrow night and into the weekend. And I think next week at some point there's going to be the bouquet of flowers and the great family picture and fight song played and Dr. Ed Scott rolling out a new head football coach for the Tigers. I don't always say this about American hires. I love these hires that have been
really
made,
good.
though, in the American.
They've been really good. And I think, when you look up and you see 3 coaches from the American going to the SEC, the other one getting a Power 4 job in Oklahoma State, it's very easy to go out there and sell your program as, look, come here, you do a good job here, and you'll probably land in one of those SEC jobs. And so I think
and along the way, you'll go to the college football playoffs.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know that that's going to stay the same.
Sure.
But both North Texas and Tulane are teams deserving of when we go to 16. If it's all at larges, the winner of that game, I think, would get in.
Yeah, definitely. They would certainly be in the mix, and that's kind of what we've always talked about. With if you expand and you get to more than 12, then you talk about that group of 5 team. There's a very good chance most years there's going to be a group of 5 team in that top 16 of the rankings, and we'll find a spot in the college football playoff. So, yeah, I think there's just so much good going for the American right now in football that when these programs look up, and now the resources that a lot of these, top of the American, those resources that they have, it's very easy to go out to some of these big-name coordinators, some of these coaches that are looking to get back on their feet and say, hey, we can be a really good spot for you. And that's kind of what all 3 of those other jobs are, the 2 other that we've seen get filled, what they've really done so far.
Let's fast forward a year, and let's say it's 16, and let's say it's all at larges, but everything else has gone the way this has gone this year.
Yeah.
Which all that is impossible. Tulane would be wanting this weekend Duke beat Virginia and BYU lose to Utah.
Yeah.
Tulane be very impressive in victory, and I think that would be close to 16.
Yeah. I think it certainly could be, and I think if you go back and you look
they're 20 now.
Yeah, and this is a year where there really isn't a great group of 5 team out there. In previous years, you've had some really good group of 5
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Boise State last year. It's a lot of years. I feel like
Central
it's very
Florida.
Yeah, a lot of years. It's very easy to say, hey, that group of 5 team is in that top 16, or they're right there around the top 16. I think this year you look. Almost every week it felt like we were getting a different team in that college football playoff ranking spot. And yeah, it just hadn't been a great year of that group of 5 team. You don't have that dominant group of 5 team, and that's not going to happen every year. And so I think it would be fine to maybe not have that spot if you expand.
And I warn Ole Miss fans now with some upsets. BYU upset. They beat Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
What other one? Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
They win. I think Ole Miss could drop to 8, but still hosting. But that's the toughest first round game, 8 versus 9.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely moves still to be made and a lot to be determined this weekend with these championship games. And so it's going to look very similar. What we're seeing right now to what we'll see on Sunday, but it will definitely look different based on the results that we see this weekend. So it's plenty to watch, and a lot will come down to those games on Saturday to what that bracket looks like on Sunday. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. All right, now we can get to our Cowboys. Big game tonight, Thursday Night Football. Cowboys and Lions in Detroit. Lions a small favorite at home. I'm excited. This a lot on the line for both of these teams tonight. A very big game if either of these teams want to make the playoffs. So this should be a really fun game here in about an hour or so.
That tie for the Cowboys, you would much prefer it be a win.
Yeah.
But you'd rather it be a tie than a loss.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have 6 losses.
No. And so
sure can't have 7.
Definitely not. And that was, you go back and you look at where the Cowboys were, when that tie came. Nobody thought the Cowboys were going to win that game or even tie against the Packers. That was when Packers came into the season with a lot of momentum and were playing really well their first couple of games. Cowboys, started 1-2 with losses against the Bears. At the time, we didn't think much about the Bears. We saw what the Bears were last year and thought they would be pretty similar to that. A loss, to open things up against the Eagles, and then not a great showing in an overtime win against the Giants that we all thought would be really, really bad this year. And so, that was a massive tie, and I think gave a lot of people hope for what this season could be. And then it was a roller coaster a lot of the way. And now you look up, and this team playing really well. You go back to a lot of those additions at the trade deadline on the defensive side of the ball, and not even just additions at the deadline. It was getting guys back from injury, kind of that addition by just getting guys available. This defense has been playing really well, and it's going to be a tough test tonight against Detroit.
And a huge loss, the biggest loss in sports this year, was the player taking his own life. For the Cowboys.
Yeah, and that one was I think it was obviously very sad, and I think came at if it's going to come at some point, it came during an off week, which it's very hard to go out and play right after that happened. It would have been. And so I think for those guys to be again, you never want something like that to happen, but for those guys to kind of have that week to really soak that in and then rally around each other, I think you see a really spirited team out there playing right now with the Cowboys, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've played extremely well over these last 3 games, and we'll see if they can do it again tonight on the road.
Brian, 1,000,000 years ago, the Lions were one of the ultimate outdoor stadiums, and like in old Minnesota, at where they played, both teams at Tiger Stadium, when the Lions played at Tiger Stadium, both teams would be on the same sideline.
I love that. Oh.
Kansas City did that as well. There was a bunch of places that used to do it, but Minnesota famously did it. Boy, I'm glad we have a dome in Detroit now.
Yeah, no
Current
kidding.
temperature.
Yeah, I'm glad we have a dome, and I'm glad we're not all on the same sideline anymore.
It's true.
A lot bad can happen when you got two
that'd be a
NFL
melee
teams
now
on the same sidelines. Yeah.
16 degrees right now in Detroit.
Whew, man, yeah. Well, you can talk all you want about domes coming and kind of taking over everywhere, and I don't love it. With every single team getting a dome.
I don't mind it. I kind of like it because I also want to see Super Bowls in Cleveland and in Chicago.
I'm saying more of just kind of the environment type of style. Like of course I want all these places to get a Super Bowl, and I think it's going to be really cool. And what else you can do with that, with college football playoffs and final exactly, and just even just on another level with concerts. I mean, you can just do so much more when you have a dome than when you have an outdoor stadium. But, kind of that week to week. I mean, we always talk about every time we get to the playoffs, we talk about, well, where's Miami going? Because if they're going up north somewhere, it's going to be really tough. And so we're about to get to a point where you don't have
going to New York this weekend.
That's right. Yeah. But we're about to get to a point where you don't have that added edge.
Right.
And so it kind of takes a little bit away from some of these environments, which I kind of hate. But
I can't ever. I know there's never been a Final Four in Cleveland. You're gonna love this, Bryant. There's been a Final Four in Chicago, at Evanston on campus at Northwestern.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's great.
Way back.
Well, yes. Whenever you're talking about on-campus national championships, you're going way back to get to that. So yeah, I mean, but you're gonna see a lot of different things, a lot of different places once these teams get domes everywhere. But right now,
same sideline. We really had so much.
I love seeing pictures like that. Whenever I see a picture of both teams on the same sideline, I mean, it just makes me chuckle.
And I mean, not a foot apart from each other.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, having conversations with the other team on the sidelines. I mean,
you can go over and get a drink of water out of their jaws.
Just right there with each other. So glad we don't do that anymore. That'd be really, really bad. But Detroit, a 3.5-point favorite right now at home. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to be active tonight. He had that injury in the Thanksgiving game, had to leave. So he'll be back tonight for Detroit.
We're not making a pick, but we're going to make a bunch of college picks tomorrow at 5:30.
We will, yeah. We're going to go through all the championship games tomorrow with a handful of games tomorrow night, and then a lot of games on Saturday as well. So we'll have plenty of picks. And then I believe we're just going to do lock and shock for the NFL this week because of all of those championship games.
And then a lot more NFL picks in the next few weeks, and we'll have all the bowl picks.
Absolutely.
Next week in college, only Army-Navy.
That's right, yeah. So that will be a lot of fun.
Then the next Friday, we start bowl picks.
And then we've got a lot of bowl games. And like we said, to start the show, already a couple of bowl games that have been announced. So those are starting to slowly roll out, and we'll get the big reveal on Sunday with all those bowl games after the playoffs. So it's almost there. It's almost bowl season, playoff season. A lot of fun, but we got to get through these conference championship games first.
It blew my mind today typing to y'all the rundown.
Yeah.
When I typed Thursday, December 4th.
Oh no, it's weird. Brett's weird. That's already the 4th of December, and going back to December 1st. It feels like these first 4 days have flown by. So Christmas will be here.
Been a lot of content this week.
Whew, it has been a very, very busy week on the content side. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Moe's Crunch Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the Alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Memphis Hustle Basketball is back and bringing the heat to the Landers Center. See tomorrow's stars in everything from high-energy matchups to limited edition giveaways and exciting theme nights. Every game is a can't-miss experience. Be part of the action and grab your tickets today at memphisHustle.com.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Say you stand by your man. Tell me something I don't understand.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch Time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries. Its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
Goodbye! It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today, it's actually what I learned about an hour ago. Fletcher McKell from down in Louisiana, he is the sports director at WDSU in New Orleans. He tweeted out about an hour ago, sources tell WDSU that all signs point toward LSU defensive coordinator Blake Baker becoming the next Tulane head coach. Baker's a former Green Wave player. A deal is not done, but could be finalized tonight or Friday, with news release on Saturday and introduction Monday or Tuesday. There were reports yesterday that Blake Baker had interviewed with Memphis for the opening here, but obviously with his ties to Tulane, also interviewed at Tulane, looks like he will be the next coach there, with an announcement coming sometime soon. So it looks like Memphis could be the last team in the American to name their head coach, but it seems like we've talked about it, I don't think anything later than Sunday on an announcement for the next head coach.
Yeah, getting real close. What I learned today, and it stunned me when we were talking about it, never mind exactly what place the Tigers finished in the American. They only finished ahead of 6 teams. If they have the best NIL and the best setup, how are you not at the top of this conference and you're only ahead of 6 teams?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. I mean, sure, like we can talk about 1 through 3 or, second or third, but not even being in the conversation of even having a chance last weekend to get into the conference championship game. I don't think
the coach has to change.
Yeah, no, he absolutely has to change that. Well, what I could have done without, it was Aaron Bradshaw not playing last night. What we learned was a coach's decision. I know Jason Munns, who we'll talk with tomorrow afternoon, he was tweeting out and said, he was kind of iffy before the game, but went through warm-ups, full go, looked like he was going to go. And so I think some people started speculating maybe an injury for Aaron Bradshaw, but then we learned it was a coach's decision. So absolutely whatever's happening, Aaron Bradshaw has not been very good on the court, and I'm sure if he's not very good on the court, that could lead to not being very good in other areas. So when coach has to put his foot down, you always support the coach, and hopefully him and Thierno Silla, who only played 2 minutes, hopefully you get a better response into the weekend against Baylor.
I could have done without Jimmy Phillips, commissioner of the ACC, PhD, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
He's weighed in. He said the ACC deserves 2 into the college football playoff.
All right.
The winner of Duke and Virginia and the U. Duke's not getting in, Jimmy.
No, Duke is absolutely not getting in. Well, I saw
if they do, shut down all the sports. It's over.
Yeah, Duke there's no way in the world that Duke is getting in. But good luck to them. I hope they win this weekend, because that would cause chaos for the college football playoffs. So I'm rooting for them. But you're not getting into the college football playoffs. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Motown for our Cowboys against Detroit.
Yeah.
Loser is out of the playoff mix. The loser will have its 6th loss. Playoffs start tonight for our Cowboys.
Playoffs absolutely.
Game face on. You see his face?
Oh no,
That's game face.
It is absolutely the game face. I gotta beam to Detroit and see this Cowboys-Lions game. This Cowboys team, 3 straight wins for them. But you look at the last 2 wins, very easily could have been losses against both the Eagles and Kansas City. They played great football late, able to secure both wins, and so we'll see if they can win it. Maybe more convincing fashion, maybe make it a little easier tonight against a really good offense in Detroit.
Tomorrow, World Cup drawing at the Kennedy Center.
I had no idea.
64 nations will be represented in the swamp tomorrow for the drawing. The United States will have Tom Brady, Shaq, and Aaron Judge as part of our team. Lovely and gracious Heidi Klum hosting.
Love it. I'm all for it.
Who needs football when we have football?
Brett, that's exactly right. I mean, it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see all the
I'm going somewhere next year with Bruce Marshall. I told him, I said, you take care of it all and tell me what I owe.
No, I think you absolutely should. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow, see what all those groups look like, and there's going to be a group of death somewhere. I don't know which group it will be, but we'll find out tomorrow, and it'll be a lot of fun to I don't know how much time we'll spend talking about the World Cup.
We will next year.
Yeah, we will.
We get that big bracket, won't we?
Oh, look, I'm all for
I had
the
a
World
disastrous bracket last time. I didn't know how to fill it out. I thought it was like NCAA tournament.
No. It's much different from the NCAA tournament.
Very.
But you learned. We'll know for next year.
I got blasted.
Well, it happens. But it should be a good night. A lot of eyes on the NFL. We've got a handful of NBA games. Not a lot in college basketball tonight. A lot of teams playing Tuesday, Wednesday. Got the next 2 nights off. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll